match the race. The history books, they tell of their defeat in 45. They all came out of the woodwork on the day the Nazi died. They say the prisoner of Spandau was a symbol of defeat. Whilst Hess remained in prison, then the fascists they would beat. So the promise of an Aryan world would never materialize. So why did they all come out of the woodwork on the day the Nazi died? The world is riddled with maggots. The maggots are getting fat. They're making a tasty meal of all the bosses and bureaucrats. They're taking over the boardrooms and they're fat and full of pride. And they all came out of the woodwork on the day the Nazi died. So if you meet with these historians, I'll tell you what to say. Tell them that the Nazis never really went away. They're out there burning houses down and peddling racist lies. And we'll never rest again until every Nazi dies.
Woke up one morning and there were soldiers. Oh, bella ciao, bella ciao, bella ciao, ciao, ciao. Woke up one morning and there were soldiers. The invasion had begun. Lend me your shoulder, we'll stand together. Oh, bella ciao, bella ciao, bella ciao, ciao, ciao. Lend me your shoulder, we'll stand together. But I feel my time has come, and if I die here for the resistance, oh bella ciao, bella ciao, bella ciao, ciao, ciao. And if I die here for the resistance, you must lay me in my grave among the flowers upon the mountain. Oh bella ciao, bella ciao, bella ciao, ciao, ciao. Among the flowers upon the mountain, let me rest among the brave. Someday the people will pick the flowers. Oh bella ciao, bella ciao, bella ciao, ciao, ciao. Someday the people will pick the flowers, and they will remember my name. This is the flower of the resistance. Oh bella ciao, bella ciao, bella ciao, ciao, ciao. This is the flower of the resistance, and those who died for liberty. This is the flower of the resistance. Oh bella ciao, bella ciao, bella ciao, ciao, ciao. This is the flower of the resistance, and those who died for liberty. This is the flower of our resistance, and those who died for liberty.
From all of you good workers, good news to you I'll tell of how the good old Union has come in here to dwell.
Which side are you on? Which side are you on?
My daddy was a miner and I'm a miner's son, and I'll stick with the Union till every battle's won.
Which side are you on? Which side are you on?
They say in Harlan County there are no neutrals there. You'll either be a Union man or a thug for J.H. Blair.
Which side are you on? Which side are you on?
Oh, workers, can you stand it? Oh, tell me how you can. Will you be a lousy scab or will you be a man?
Which side are you on?
Hello there, hello there, Hello there, everybody. How the devil are we all? I am sensationally well. I've turned into a Dalek. How are we all? Are you well? I know who's not doing well. The Labour Party. Boom, can we get some lols in chat? Lovely stuff. Apologies for last night / this morning. For what you call it? For the stream crashing out. The internet was the internet shat it basically, and I went, oh fuck this, it's 2 a.m. I went to bed. Like, it might have come back relatively soon afterwards. I'll never know. Like, it died, and I went, oh fuck this, I'm going to bed. Yeah. It's not like there were that many fucking results coming through anyway, but yeah, so it was a bit of a shit show in the end. But what can you say? What can you say? I genuinely thought you'd been abducted by the rats. Well, no, the rats were out there celebrating their wins. They've won big. They won big. Everyone voted rat. I, for one, welcome our new vermin overlords. Starmer's loss was so big it broke your connection. Literally. The power of this man's sensible politics was too much for the internet. It literally broke it. He adulted in the room so much that it was it literally broke the fibre connection. The fuck am I talking about? Anyway, yes, we're going to be on with Poshbird, who I should really stop referring to in that way, because it's funny, but like people won't necessarily get it, and that, you know, I wouldn't wish people to misunderstand the joke. You know, if you haven't heard the story or whatever, it's fine, I guess. You know. Anyway, talking of posh birds. Right.
What is up, Kevin? How you doing?
I'm just enjoying all the quiet.
It's extremely quiet.
It really is, absolutely. How was your afternoon of nerdery?
I played badly and lost, but it was just a day of like testing and getting my reps in and my practice. So now is the time to make the stupid mistakes.
Fair enough, I guess. Fair enough. Yeah, how is London treating you more broadly?
I had a surprise Novara appearance last night, because turns out the Airbnb we're staying in is like a couple of stops away from where the studio is. So, and they were doing a big local election show tonight with the whole team, and so they got me into a couple of bits and pieces, which was good fun. Good to see all of the crew, and I'm always happy to get a little bit extra in.
So you just been hanging out with Ash Sarkar as usual, you know, normal stuff.
It's casual, yeah.
Yeah, just whatever, you know, it's fine. Yeah. Anyway, question time, friend. Anyway, what have we made of the election results then?
I mean, where do we even fucking start? Where do we start?
Quite so.
I guess we're both English. You probably should start with England. So.
I mean, I guess so. Yeah. Why not? We will get on to Wales and Scotland. We promise, because that's funny as well. You know.
I mean, it's funny. Scotland's especially funny, as not only have Labour done badly, but Reform have also done badly as well.
Well, exactly. Well, this is the thing. The sort of overarching point I would make is that, I mean, I was just right. I was just correct. And I'm not afraid to say I was right and to sniff my own farts on this one. The Reform Party have done well, but not necessarily as well as some predicted. The Green Party have done okay. The Labour Party have done worse than people predicted. Largely speaking, there were obviously some outliers in various places. But yeah, it's all gone sort of as I thought it would, which is a little bit disconcerting, because politics shouldn't be that.
I mean, if Kevin Logan is correctly guessing it, then we're all shit creek, aren't we?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. No, there are people with proper, like, you know, they do research and stuff that got it wrong.
I mean, let's be real. Obviously, you know, we both still do politics as our job, even if
Yeah.
half of it is just kind of shit posting and fingering dead fascists, right? But like,
What a fucking
like-
synopsis of my career. Oh no.
but like, we literally have been predicting everything for the last 6 years, ever since Keir Starmer was elected leader of the Labour Party. We
Yeah.
have literally predicted everything to a T. We predicted Starmer winning, whilst not really being liked very much because of a vote split. We predicted that he'd be hated within 5 minutes and these people couldn't govern. We predicted that it would lay into the hands of the far right. And, I mean, we kind of both predicted as well that once the Greens were seen as like an actual alternative, if they actually built a media empire, they would start cannibalising Labour's vote for fucking breakfast. And we predicted all of this, and
Yeah.
the politicos are reacting to it like they're dumbfounded.
Well, exactly, yeah, because to them, the two-party system worked. They're the only people for whom it ever has worked, but especially in the last 20 years, for instance. It's been amazing. And the biggest loser tonight isn't just the Labour Party, but it's the Labour right. They got everything they wanted. They got to do... They got to do...
An actual party of government.
Well, they got to do everything they wanted, up to including a cheeky, like, freezing your grandma and grandpa to death type thing. They got to try and... They got to kick people out. They got to do all of the hubris about the door is open, you can leave. They got to try and fucking eviscerate the disabled, which, by the way, they've secretly been doing anyway, but whatever. That was revealed today. Sneak that bad news out, during a heavy news day. They've been engaging in fucking genocide and then wondering why the people who share, let's say, a commonality with the people who are being genocided don't want to vote for them anymore. They've done all of this. They've got everything they wanted, and it's been a fucking unmitigated, unalloyed disaster, and led them to being the most unpopular government ever.
I literally don't think disaster covers it. Like, I think apocalyptic is how we describe these local elections for Labour.
Well, I've gone with Starmerggeddon.
Literally.
Yeah, that. Yeah, they've lost nearly 1,400 seats. They've only won 900. What the fuck? Like, they've been absolutely destroyed. They've lost, like, obviously my own patch in Birmingham is a bit of a weird result where 4 seats separates 4 parties. Very.
Oh, building a coalition in Birmingham is be fucking hilarious.
It's going to be impossible, is what it is. I've done the mathematics. It doesn't work. No matter which way you slice it, it's impossible. Anyway, but also like places like Sandwell, which Bowler Hatman described as Sadwell because he can't fucking read. Anyway, Sandwell Council, the Labour Party have controlled for 47 straight years. 47 years of majority. And not only have they lost it to not overall control, but the Reform Party have taken it outright.
I mean, you think of other like councils. Like, did you see the Waltham Forest council result?
Yeah. Also,
literally zero Greens on the council to begin with. Labour 31 councillors, massive majority, and they've lost all of them. Every single one, a clean sweep to the Green Party.
And I just want to say, like, the political leadership need to get their head together on this one, because just on a matter of self-preservation, because Eluned in Wales lost, right? So the leader of the Welsh Labour Party lost her seat. Amazing. You can't spell Eluned without the letter L, clearly. The leader of Keir Starmer's own council, the council where he lives, the Labour Party leader lost his seat. Mm-hmm. Amazing. In my own patch here, John Cotton, and I just want to take a moment of indulgence on my part to just say a big, massive thank you to the people of Glebe Farm who got rid of John Cotton, the now former leader of the Labour Party here in the Birmingham and the former leader of the council, who lost his seat. Not only have the Labour Party lost their majority and lost any semblance of support in the city whatsoever, they've also lost their leader. So a big massive fuck you to John Cotton. Never show your face in public, you piece of trash.
It's also worth pointing out as well that the Scottish Labour leader also lost his seat on the constituency ballot, but of course he will get put in on the regional list, right? But he will be the SNP. Anas, mate, what's going on? Anus
Sawa, ironically getting in through the back door. Heyo.
Literally, I mean,
yeah.
But I think, what's interesting about this, I thought the Greens were going to do worse. I thought the Greens were going to have it underperform given the attacks from last week. And you know what? We spoke about this, and you were right. You said you thought that people wouldn't be giving a shit about random public discourse and would vote with their conscience, and they have done.
Yeah, I just don't think that the media have the pull they once did. Again, we talked about it, but look, literally the point of, you know, the old, you know, I remember it, that it was the Sun what won it back in the 90s thing, you know, John Major's victory in 92. And literally that famous headline, you know, the last person to leave Britain turn the light out, as a kind of attack line against, again, imagine that. Imagine that how far the right wing of the Labour Party have taken over. That Neil Kinnock was seen as a dangerous lefty back in the day.
Literally.
Mad shit. Anyway, the media just don't have that pull anymore, so they can try and smear people. And genuinely, look, if you are watching, because I know you watch No Justice's streams, please stop apologising, Zach. Like, you need to purge the inner Lib Dem from within you. Stop apologising for things. The people seeking your apology don't want your apology and will never accept it. So
well,
stop.
I'm not live on my end. I'm still in. I was in London, so I can't stream and also be on.
Well, I hope he watches my fucking streams then. Yeah.
It'd be better if he's not watching the streams with ructions.
Exactly. Now, actually, you know what? I hope. Well, I can only imagine now that the Green Party have won all these seats, we get massive tits and heroin for everyone, right?
Let's fucking go.
What a way to celebrate, mate. I hope he's off his newly massive tits on whatever drug he wants. Good on him, the lad. Anyway, yeah. So so we've got the overall results. I'll put them on the screen for everyone. I don't know if you're going to be able to see anything, are you?
I mean, I could see, but I'm just like I'm in bed and talking anyway. I mean, I know all the results at this point anyway. I've been watching them all day, and the Navarro, they're going through the results too. So.
Oh, get you professional.
It's a crazy setup, by the way, with like 3 presenters and all swapping around, and 3 producers and like a writer in the background just kind of moving around doing stuff, getting all the new graphics all uploaded and things like that. It was an incredibly well-oiled machine.
Ooh, journalism! No, that's...
the J words.
Oh, Jesus Christ, okay. Yeah.
Oh god, independent journalists are good at this. We have loads of really good independent journalists. It's the mainstream media that's a problem.
Exactly, yes, the true. Exactly. Much as Keir Starmer has stolen the word sensible and made it silly, the pretend journalists who write for like the Telegraph have destroyed the word journalism, and we need to reclaim it for what it could be. Anyway, so Reform have won massively. Let's not pretend otherwise. They have slightly underperformed on where they were expecting in certain places, but they have done pretty well. They can be pretty pleased with that, which is disconcerting given that it's the 8th of May and therefore Victory Day, where we celebrate the international community coming together to destroy the Nazi yoke across all of Europe and indeed other continents, officially ending on the 8th of May 1945. And we've just elected people like the guy in fucking Merseyside who literally said that the Holocaust was a hoax. So, you know, bad historical echoes.
Yeah, another Reform sport who said that we need a bit of the Nazis now to get rid of the immigrants, right? Like.
Yeah. They're fascists. We've just elected loads of fascists, yeah.
I mean, speaking of people around Merseyside, it's technically a Cheshire seat, Holton, but like, it's in that area of the country. This was the first results that I saw last night, and I was just like, well, if this is happening, this is really bad. So it was in a Holton constituency where the Labour vote last time was 80%, like over 80% of the vote. They lost to Reform on a 50-point swing. Reform from a standing start got an absolute majority in the ward, and Labour were down 50 points.
Yeah, absolutely amazing.
It's the first thing I saw, and I was like, this night is going to be an absolute bloodbath.
And it really is, because look at those numbers there. Labour down nearly 1,400 seats. There are still seats to be announced, because for some reason we can't just count things properly in this country. It's a fucking joke. Birmingham still has 6 seats outstanding. And not all of those have gone to a recount. They're just fuck-ups. Brilliant. Anyway, the Lib Dems have done alright, whatever. The Tories have lost nearly 600 seats, which again is about half of what they were fighting.
see Kerry doing like a fucking thing. It's like, oh, there's Tory strength here, and I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like,
You got annihilated. You got replaced by Reform yesterday. That's what
you got,
happened.
you got replaced by a man who's just like a fucking weird wrinkled foot. Like, what the fuck? Like, how bad do you have to be? And on top of this, like, this is also worth pointing out. The last time that these elections were contested were in 2022.
Yes.
Which was at the height of Partygate, where Labour made huge gains. It's why they had so many seats to lose. And Kemi said, "This is a good night for the Tories." You literally, those are like horrendously bad council elections for you last time. The fact you're still losing seats, this is pathetic.
Exactly. You've got to look at the baseline. So they had a very low bar to clear in order to do better than that time, and they didn't. Very badly didn't. She has to be gone. Surely, there's no way the Tories let her survive.
I mean, I don't think it's her fault. I don't think she gets to, because her polling ratings individually are actually pretty high. It's just she polls better than Farage.
Yeah, but this is the Tory party. The Tory party don't allow failure.
That's true. They engage in regicide very frequently.
Yes. So I think we've seen the last of Kenneth, which is a shame. But I'll have to come up with new ways of demeaning the new Tory leader instead.
Which is stupid. Did you see the aggregate projected vote share on a national level?
No, tell me about it.
So first place projected, like, if this kind of vote was replicated with the same demographics across the country, had Reform ahead on 26% and the Green Party in second on 18%. So all of those Greens in second polls that nobody believed, it's true.
Yeah.
We have actual electoral data showing the Green Party as the main challenger to Reform, right? Like the old two-party system is literally dead and buried.
Well, the only part of the video of Zia Youssef pretending to be a Yank but wearing avatars, not avatar, aviators on the beach, doing that, we're going to put concentration camps in green seats. But the only bit that was actually true was when he said there's a fight for the soul of this country between the Reform Party and the Green Party. That's actually true. There is. The British people have been given the option of socialism or barbarism, and so far, it's not looking great.
I mean, yeah, that's pretty much true. Much true.
But the Green Party are, as you say, from a standing start. Like in my own patch, they went from 2 seats to 17. Which is pretty impressive, and there are still 6 to count. I don't know how many they can win of those.
Yeah,
but
there's only like 10 seats last time I checked for the Greens, so they've really put in a good performance there.
Yeah, there are only 4 seats separating the Tories, Reform, Labour, and Green. 4.
And them do well in your areas for some reason, right? As well.
They picked up a couple of seats, but they're only on 12. And literally, the mathematics just don't work. No matter what realistic combination of parties and independents you put together, it doesn't get to the 51 you need for a majority.
To be fair for Birmingham, it's interesting in that, despite it being first past the post, you seem to have actually created something that looks like how the people voted.
Yeah, it's almost proportional representation. Yeah. Which is including independents. So people who didn't vote for any of the other parties also have independent councillors as well. Which is nice, but it shouldn't be down to that. It should actually be proportional to some degree. Now, an underrated factor in all of this, for all of the whinging Labour Party fucking hacks out there who are talking about the splitting of the vote and allowing Reform through, you have a massive majority. You could pass voter reform. You could do it. You could do it in the King's Speech in 2 weeks or whatever it is, next week, whenever it is. You could do that. They're not going to. And you know they're not going to. It's embarrassing.
Yeah, I mean, that's literally true. I mean, they won't do it. I mean, Andy Burnham would, I think, if he got into Parliament, but he'll get blocked by the fucking NEC again.
Well, even if he didn't, where is there a safe seat for Labour now? Look at these numbers. When you're losing 50% of the vote, there's nowhere that's safe.
Oh, you sure Manchester's a sea of green.
Yeah.
The city of Manchester's all green.
Yeah.
Where
Again.
the fuck stands?
Well, exactly. Like Manchester, they just lost a seat in Parliament. They've lost all of the fucking councillors there. They've lost loads on Merseyside. They've lost fucking Sandwell and Birmingham and various other
Barnsley?
places. Barnsley?
Sunderland?
Barnsley.
Yeah,
I cannot wait to see Bowler Hat Man. Amazing stuff.
They got totally wiped out in Sunderland. There was no one left. Total wipeout. It's crazy.
Which
It's
is
literally
is insane, because that was like absolute boilerplate Labour territory in the
Bridget
northwest.
Phillipson, isn't
Yeah,
it?
yeah. They just fucking
Young
lost in
Laura.
Wales. They lost in fucking Wales. They've lost in Scotland.
They didn't just lose in Wales. They got fucking obliterated in Wales.
Yeah, honestly,
Absolutely annihilated.
anyone who's come out to say that Keir Starmer should stay, you have tied yourself to the mast of a sinking ship. Enjoy the drowning that awaits.
It's like a Liz Truss style like sleeper agent to destroy the party.
Yeah, it's, amazing. He's again, Sandwell Council. It's been Labour for 47 years. Think of how bad things have gotten in 47 years. You had the kind of mid-80s where Labour were absolutely in the doldrums. The post-Foot era, absolutely fucking eviscerated. You had the post-Iraq slumps where they lost huge numbers of votes in local and European elections.
Crisis.
You had the financial crisis. You had the Tory austerity years. You had all of this stuff where they kept losing elections and being unpopular, and Sandwell stuck with them. And within 18 months, the people of Sandwell have gone, no, fuck you, I'm not having this. And not only have just, like, voted for someone else to the point of no overall majority, but the Reform Party from nowhere are now the majority party on that council. Yeah. They lost control of Wakefield, which they've held since 74. That's 52 years.
Newcastle City Council. But what's crazy about Newcastle City Council too is that whilst obviously Sunderland is just like a sea of reform, in Newcastle around the corner, it's like split down the middle of Reform and Green. There's two Labour councillors left. They had a majority on the city council in Newcastle. There's now two Labour councillors, but there's a sea of Green and a sea of Teal split down the middle between the kind of the student progressive metropolitan area and the kind of the ring of more suburban areas. They've all like post-industrial, all gone Reform, and this shows right. The Labour Party have obviously kept some seats. They did badly, right? Really, really badly. But they've kept some, and it's all just in like posh areas of London.
Yeah.
This is where they've kept those good. They hyper-targeted these like aspirational type Mondeo man style voters, right? And the bottom of their coalition has just fallen away. And on both sides, post-industrial Britain has gone away, and progressive metropolitan Britain's gone away, and they just have like upper middle income professionals voting for them. It's literally existential, which is why it's why they can't hold Newcastle anymore. They're post-industrial. Newcastle is like the key kind of city, which demographically is just the old school Labour coalition, the old pre-Blair coalition of young, kind of socially liberally minded communitarian people and post-industrial trade union factory worker type. Like that was the long-standing Labour coalition pre-Blair, making them a bourgeois party, right?
Yeah.
And the whole thing has collapsed because there's no bourgeois kind of young professionals in Newcastle,
yeah.
Which is why like it's all gone green and Reform. And the only reason that London hasn't like literally turned into a sea of green and blue is because there is like people who live in, the nice boroughs. I
was about to say, it's the only
townhouses in Islington, right?
It's the only place in the country that has any money.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's why. Yeah, because they're just a party of like upper middle class people now. Yeah.
I think even in Manchester, where it's an up and coming area of the country, there are like affluent people in Manchester still got obliterated along those same lines too. Like it's literally just basically London where they've not like capitulated. See Wigan, all of the Labour councils, only a third up for election. All the Labour councils gone overnight.
Yeah.
Gust of wind blew them. They've been blown away like an absolute tornado. This election.
Yeah. Absolutely amazing stuff. Plaid Cymru, congratulations to them becoming the biggest party in Wales. Still not a majority, but enough to be getting on with. I would imagine they'll probably have to form some kind of coalition or supply and motion or whatever the fuck it was.
I mean, it's funny. They're going to be governing with the obliterated Labour Party. It's going to be very funny.
Yeah, that's the thing. Any coalition will still have to like probably go with the remnants of the Labour Party, and why would you want to? They've just been rejected,
I mean, it's interesting. I don't think that necessarily all the people who voted Plaid are like absolutely furious and hate Labour. There was a combination of voter fatigue and disappointment with Keir Starmer, right? But it's not like the absolute rage that you get from Reform voters. And they voted Plaid because they wanted to stop Reform. Like, there's the Keir Philly effect, and of course some level of civic nationalism as well. I
Yeah.
don't think they'll necessarily be that put off by Labour being the junior partner, but what that does mean is that if Plaid do well in government with some expertise from Labour, they might get even more votes next time.
Yeah, exactly. The Labour Party do have some interest in bringing that government down at some point, probably.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah, which is all pretty bad. But again, it was funny to see the Labour leader lose their seat. Good.
In proportional representation as well.
I know, absolutely insane stuff. Like, they can't get their own leadership elected anywhere.
I mean, Keir Starmer would be he would be annihilated if there was an election tomorrow.
Oh yeah, in his own constituency, he'd get absolutely fucked over. When you're seeing swings of fucking 30, 40, 50%, not just as an outlier, but like, that's pretty common. There are seats across the country that have seen that. In rural areas, in urban areas, rich areas, poor areas, they've lost big everywhere basically, and so there are no safe seats anymore. Which, I mean, honestly, Paul Mason absolutely seething.
Oh my god, someone wants to have like a wellness check. I actually don't.
No, don't bother. Just look, I just let him be and let nature take its course, is what I say. Same with James O'Brien, to which I just have to say, under any other leader, they'd be 20 points ahead. You fucking minge.
Taxi for James.
Yeah.
Taxi for James. Captain Sensible. No, not Captain Sensible.
Yeah, king of the sensibles. Anyway, yes, and the SNP, even after a million years in government, people
Scandal after scandal. Getting arrested, your leader and her husband getting arrested.
Yeah.
Hamza Yusuf being terrible and blowing apart their coalition government, and John Swinney being a fucking total charisma vacuum non-entity. And that's basically all they needed. They just needed to stick around and pretend not to be there whilst Labour imploded from Westminster.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, when your enemy is defeating themselves, you don't really need to fight them. They're doing it to themselves in the same way that Starmer essentially just didn't promise anything, didn't put anyone off, and just let the Tories commit suicide. Yeah. Anyway, we shall wait and see. I can't wait to see what's going to be in the King's speech, just to see how pathetically tepid any kind of changes that they might actually do, because they've learned absolutely nothing. You've already seen all these wankers go, oh, we need to go faster and further, we need the change and blah blah. They've learned nothing. They've learned absolutely nothing.
Remember when during the election campaign Keir Starmer said stability would be the change, and it's not delivered either.
Exactly. That's what I've said. Like, if you're going to be the technocrat guy, you have to be like a safe pair of hands on the tiller. You have to be an organised person. And he doesn't even fucking read things.
Doctor No Hinterland.
Fucking, oh my god. What I would give for a Prime Minister with a hinterland right now. Anyway.
Literally. Did you see the report from a guy called Stan Greenberg? He did a thing with UCL Policy Lab. He previously works with Clinton and Blair. And he did some polling internally, and 75% of people don't like Keir Starmer, which is really funny. But interestingly enough, the biggest thing they found that puts off progressive voters was literally, it was just because Keir Starmer can't articulate why he does any of the things that he does, what he believes was. Again, he's literally losing because of his lack of hinterland, which I think is really it's really scripted. It paints a real picture.
Well, and the reason he can't really explain that is because there is nothing to explain. Fundamentally, he doesn't decide anything. Other people decide, and he just goes out there and says things.
Elected to lead, not to read.
Exactly, like he literally is McBain. Yeah, he doesn't. There's no underlying ideology or even just thought process to the decisions that he makes, because he doesn't make the decisions. So he's just bereft of policy, ideology, and explanation. There's no narrative to spin because there's no narrative. There's nothing to him. He's literally... That's why he had to go around saying, my dad's a tool maker. Because he's got nothing... He doesn't have a vision for anything. There's no plan. So you just have to say sound bites. He's doing government by sound bite.
I mean, that's true. And the thing is, advisors are doing government by opinion poll. That's the reason why there's no vision is because even if obviously Keir Starmer believes nothing, we all know that he doesn't he literally doesn't have hinterland and doesn't read. We know he is literally a fucking empty balloon with a face on it, being operated from behind. But the people who are operating him, the people at the control desk, they also don't have an ideological vision because their project for the country was do the things that the opinion polls say is good. Which one doesn't work because the opinion polls are only a totally imperfect measure. Like, people will say, I want the welfare bill down, and then they just have this thermostatic reaction to the PIP reforms because it was obvious just, let's harm the disabled to balance the books. It looked fucking monstrous.
Yeah.
And there's a second problem. Despite, on top of the fact that polling an issue is not the same as implementing it as a policy, on top of this, Keir Starmer is so hated, not just because he can't articulate why he's doing things, he just goes from pillar to post, U-turning, doing things everyone hates, wasn't in the manifesto, right? But he's also a massive fucking liar. Like David Aronovich was on Twitter today saying, why can't someone qualitatively explain to me why Keir Starmer isn't on the side of the voters? I'm like, because he keeps fucking lying. He can't help himself about his beliefs, about his reasons for doing things, about the policies, about the manifesto, about any of the direction. All he does is lie and lie.
All I would say, as a riposte to Mr. Aronovich, is the fact that you can't tell why Keir Starmer is despised is the reason he is despised.
Literally.
You,
100%.
the upper middle class commentariat scum, literally the lowest of the low. I would take the dregs of our prison system over our fucking commentariat at this point. You love this guy. The vibes are all there. And that's why he's fucking hated.
Yep, exactly. And he's so hated that even if he touches a policy, no matter what policy it is, and no matter how much the public liked it before, as soon as he touches it, he's massively negatively polarized.
Well, it happened.
ID cards.
Yeah, ID cards are the exact example. Yeah, in abstract, people were like, "Yeah, we're okay with ID cards." As soon as Keir Starmer comes out and says we're doing ID cards, everyone was like, "Nah, fuck it. I'm banning a barricade right now. You ain't fucking making me have fucking a card, you fucking prick. Fuck off."
Well, that's a good reason for that. It's a very good reason. And there was, of course, I opposed them already, but there was a good reason for why you should actively resist someone who says that ID cards are good and can't fucking explain why.
Yeah.
The obvious reaction is, well, if you can't tell me why we're having these ID cards, if you can't justify this to me, obviously you're doing it for nefarious purposes.
Yeah, 100%. Labour could lose the Unite affiliation soon. Well, I do hope so. I mean, literally, to go back to John Cotton.
Every trade union, every fucking trade union.
Yeah.
It's disgraceful. It's a disgrace to the trade union movement. These people still tie their fucking flag to the Labour mast. Like, what the fuck are you doing?
Well, literally here in Birmingham, we had it during the election. Like, usually what happens is they obviously have, like, their own activists and members that do stuff, but they also get trade union people involved, right? And it's a way of sort of helping both the Labour Party and the trade union, like, gain experience of political campaigning and all that sort of stuff, right? And so they go, they have trade union officials go and knock on doors and fucking, chat to people and leaflet and all of that bollocks. And they literally couldn't find anyone to do it here in Birmingham, right? So they lost, like, about a third of all of their fucking people. On top of the fact that they've got no members, so they probably lost the other 2/3 as well. And I'm like, motherfucker, you've spent the last year telling people to cross their picket line. Why the fuck would they go and deliver leaflets for you, you prick? Like, for real, why the fuck... Not only are you expecting them to pay for you to fucking scab against them, but you want them to campaign for your re-election so that you can continue to do so. Get wrecked. Get wrecked. Yeah. Absolutely.
Oh, dear Lord. I mean, do you have any regional votes still remaining for Scotland?
Let me have a look. Get the full results here. Just go to Scotland. Hang on, no, you're right. Scottish elections. Here we go. Yes, there are still 7 seats outstanding. And the Scottish National Party are how many seats short? 8. So,
8.
so even if they won all 7, they would still be short. Yeah. And the second place party, I mean, Labour look likely to maybe cling on, but it's only 2 seats in it.
I mean, that's true, and the Scottish Greens could also end up in third as well. I don't think that's true. I think this is Lothian we're looking at here. So
Yeah.
Aberdeen's a Tory area, Tory SNP Lib Dems in Lothian, right?
Well, well, as it currently stands, the Tories have lost 16, the Reform have gained 15. I think that's a telling little insight. And also, as it currently stands, Tories in 5th. 5th place.
I mean, but it's quite funny. Oh, sorry, no, ignore me. It's I got the area wrong. It's the Highlands and Islands that's still left to count.
And
sorry.
if the Liberal Democrats can win a couple of more seats, that would put the Tories into 6th.
I mean, the Highlands are usually Lib Dem voting area.
So that could actually happen. The Tories could finish 6th in Scotland, which would be... They would literally the opposition before the election. That is outstanding. Honestly, the Kemi Naissance is really doing its wonders. You gotta love it.
Fucking Douglas Ross, right? That's so funny.
Yeah, amazing.
Shame that the Scottish Greens didn't pick one of the other two, but
yeah,
it was always really difficult.
And realistically, yeah, there's going to have to be another Butte House style agreement, and the Greens and the SNP are going to have to form a coalition. One would think, because
directly because the Greens have taken seats from the SNP.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. There's no way else that works. They're not going to join with the Liberal Democrats because unionism, right? And why would the Liberal Democrats join with the SNP when their whole thing has been like, if you like fluffy, vaguely left-sounding politics, but you don't want the independents, Liberal Democrats, you know. So yeah, that's essentially how that will shake out. Did we want to watch a little bit of Question Time?
Yeah, sure. I watched the first half of it, so I don't mind watching it again.
Oh, okay. Oh, blatant pre-watching. Outrageous.
I mean, I've already made it clear.
Fair enough. Okie doke. I don't know where they're based tonight, but anyway, we'll see.
I've been lucky enough to.
But this is how it works. Tonight we are live from Central.
So the existing Highland list MPs, there is a Green. It's Green, one SNP, one Labour, 3 Conservative. So yeah, we could. I mean, it's not actually a Lebanon area. I thought it was, but we could still end up with the Greens ahead of Labour here if they get an extra seat and Labour lose one.
That would be pretty funny. Like it would be sort of interesting if you have a unionist majority like that, for you to deny them a fucking referendum. Like they still will because it's Keir Starmer and he's learned nothing. But you know, on a kind of practical level, it would be difficult, I think. But anyway, or an ethical level, right? Let's get on to it. So they're based in London, so naturally we're going to have like 2 seconds of talk about Scotland and Wales, and then it's going to be, oh, for fuck's sake, fucking Piers Morgan's there. Oh, fucking kill me. In Minecraft.
London, as the huge scale of political change across the United Kingdom becomes clear. For the first time in a century, Labour have lost a national election in Wales.
Lol.
Are now the biggest party.
Like,
in Scotland,
can we just get some lols for the Labour Party in Wales? You've earned it, lads. Fucking Vaughan Gethin, what are you doing? What the fuck were you doing? After, what's his name? Fucking, what, the little lad? The little supply teacher who was okay. What was his name? Mark Drakeford. You want to just put in shithouse after shithouse? And they all fucking support Starmer? You garbage bags.
SNP are the biggest party there. In England, Labour have suffered terrible losses in the council.
Terrible!
What does all this mean for Keir Starmer? What does it mean for the United Kingdom? the Conservative too has suffered losses. And then, of course, Reform have made...
See, that's almost more damning of the Conservative Party than it was of the Labour Party. Because, like, everyone can see that it's this, you know, it's an absolute obliteration for the Labour Party. But the fact that the Tory Party are just an afterthought now. They're just like, this is the key story, and also the Tories lost. Like, that's worse. You're so irrelevant, you don't even get mentioned until after the story.
But literally, like, the fact that they're talking about, like, prison treats and Chagos and, like, farm... I like, literally, they just talk about shit no one cares about.
Yep.
Saying that they're irrelevant.
Yep.
Major gains in 2 nations, possibly 3 tonight as the votes come in. Does this mean that Nigel Farage may have the keys to Downing Street in 3 years' time?
No, this was not last night. This was from today. Because obviously they can't broadcast until after the polls close. So they went, oh, we'll just do it on Friday then. As you do.
Then, of course, there's the Lib Dems and the Greens. They are also part now of this new multi-party landscape. So, tonight on Question Time, we're going to do things a little bit differently to reflect this change in our politics. We're going to have a programme of 2 halves, if you like, 2 different panels for the national picture and then a panel for the local picture in England. So there we go. That's how we're going to do things tonight for our new politics. Welcome to Question Time. For the Labour government, we have the Business Secretary, Peter Kyle. Kevin Hollinrake is the Conservative Party chairman and a former business minister. Piers Morgan is a journalist and broadcaster and the presenter of...
Journalist in quotation marks. He's a YouTuber.
literally. I have loads of funny comments in the Navarra comment section. When I covered Piers Morgan having like Valentina Gomez and Sami Hamdi on his show, I literally described him as a YouTuber, and people found that very funny.
Well, he is.
He is. Yeah.
What organisation pays him? YouTube.
Yeah, literally.
Of Piers Morgan Uncensored. Robert Jenrick is Reform UK's economic...
Oh, so they got 2 Tories on. Sorry, 3 with Piers Morgan. No, sorry, 4 with Peter Kyle. Yeah.
Spokesperson having defected from the Tories, of course, in January. Dave Dugan is the SNP's Defence and Economy spokesperson.
I want to lick chocolate from this man's beard.
It's a good one.
It's lovely.
Person of Westminster, and Liz Saville-Roberts is the leader of Plaid Cymru in the House of Commons.
And genuinely has one of the most delightful speaking voices. It's lilting, is how I would describe it.
Good evening, welcome to our panelists, welcome to our audience here in London, great to see you, and of course welcome to you at home. As I said, it's going to be a slightly different question time tonight, but we're going to get going very quickly with our first question, which is from Lindsay Brady.
Hi, can Keir Starmer survive these election results?
No.
Well, not in the long run, but like, the Labour Party is so pathetic. Like, oh God, like, I understand that the cabinet members are going to say, oh, Keir Starmer has to survive. Keir Starmer has, you know, it would be chaos without Keir Starmer. But the people like fucking old, strongly worded letter himself, McDonnell, coming out and being like, oh, you know, we need stable government, blah, blah, blah. And Keir Starmer has some serious introspection to do. Oh, you're a fucking minge, mate. What's the point of you? Like, genuinely, why do you exist? At least the Labour right support their guy. You're just, like, blowing in the wind. God almighty, I've grown to really dislike John McDonnell. And he's not the worst of them. He's just, like, so spineless. God almighty.
Robert Jenrick.
Well, let's take a second to step back and remind ourselves that most of these elections wouldn't have even happened if Nigel Farage hadn't taken Keir Starmer, the Labour government, to court, and the Conservative Party that was in cahoots with them, and forced them to happen. So those people would not have had their vote in the first place.
Amazing, isn't it? The fascist party now seem like the pro-democracy party, because Keir Starmer is so authoritarian he tried for a second year in a row to cancel elections he knew he was going to lose. Over a reorganisation that didn't need to happen and that wasn't in the manifesto.
And that no one wanted.
Yeah, and that won't achieve anything. Brilliant. Honestly, forensic!
It gives us the whole perspective. It's just been a fucking mess from day one.
Yeah.
And we can now see why. Why people tried to deny you your vote. Because the results that have come through over the course of the day have shown that this is, I believe, the beginning of the end of the two old parties that have run this country for so long.
That you were in for most of your life, Robert.
Like, the public aren't stupid too. They know that this guy's a fucking slime ball.
Yeah. He'll be Prime Minister, though.
Yeah.
And millions of people have turned away because they feel that both of those parties have let the country down. Not just in the last 2 years, but over many years. That living standards are stagnating, that immigration is out of control, that our high streets are hollowed out, that crime in cities like London are too great. And
he means brown people, in case you didn't get that very obvious piece of coding there. Also, interesting, on that point, did you see our old friend, Uber Zionist Jake Wallace-Simons today on Twitter?
I try not to see him, but yes. What did you say?
He was, I mean, look, taken at face value, it doesn't necessarily mean anything. He's just saying the Greens celebrate a win. Is this what you want for Britain? And it's just some brown people being happy.
It's almost like he's a massive racist, just like all Zionists.
It's literally just some brown people being like that. I'm supposed to be scared by that. Jake, your racism's showing a bit obviously here, mate. Just saying. Yeah. Fucking hell. Yeah, Zionists really are the worst. Imagine if someone did that about Jews. Imagine if someone did the exact same fucking tweet about Jewish people. A, Jake Wallace-Simons would never shut up about it. And B, there'd be an investigation. There'd be a fucking Cobra meeting. There'd be a new fucking section, a new entire police force set up about it. Fucking embarrassing.
A lot of this under the Conservatives when you were in power, when you were in the part of the government.
This is a reflection on politics more generally.
That is true, is it not?
It is, absolutely, Fiona. This is a reflection on the way we've been governed for a very long time. I don't think our country has been well governed.
You were in the government. You did this.
Chief migrant hotel fucking contract getter.
Yeah, motherfucker. The way we've been governed, like you weren't the one doing the governing. You can't be the insurgent against the government you were a part of.
For most of my adult lifetime, and I take my share of responsibility for that.
Do you?
And people are voting for something different now. They want...
Because if you did, you'd be going to Switzerland, mate. If you actually took responsibility. Like, I hate this with politicians when they say, I take responsibility. No, you've just said the words, I take responsibility. That's not taking responsibility. That's just some noise coming out of your face.
Keir Starmer has literally spent the last fucking 18 months going, I take responsibility for the terrible things, and then hasn't taken responsibility.
Yeah.
To see real change. And that is one of the reasons why millions of people have voted Reform. And they voted Reform from the Welsh valleys to the Highlands of Scotland, from England's industrial towns and cities to the shires and the counties of East Anglia, because Reform offers something...
Yes, we do have shires. We are Hobbiton. Shut up.
Something different from the old politics which is seen to have failed people. And to answer your question...
It's infuriating. You are that. You're the hot dog meme. We're all trying to find out who did this. Well, it's crazy.
This guy fucking praised the coalition government.
Yeah.
Where are we left tonight? Well, I believe we're left with a lame duck government run by a lame duck prime minister who doesn't have any ideas how to fix the challenges that you and millions of other people are facing right now in the country. And whether Labour backbenchers or indeed cabinet ministers like Peter choose to get rid of him or not, it's not going to make a difference. We need a general election. I think a general election is inevitable. And when it comes...
Yeah, I can't wait till they get rid of Keir Starmer and then replace him with whoever, Wes Streeting or David Lammy or whatever. And then just carry on. And he's going to come out and say, no, there needs to be a general election. This is illegitimate. Having gone through how many fucking Tory leaders and not piping up about it? The hypocrisy will be delicious.
Almost certainly.
What we've learnt in the last 48 hours is you can get change. You just have to vote for it. And party-like reform is waiting to take the country in a better direction and to ensure that we can finally fix the challenges that we've faced for far too long.
Piers.
Silence. Wow. Not so fast, Reform. Yeah, of course he should go. I mean, let's be honest. This has been an absolute shambles. A shambles. Let's do a quick test. Who here feels better off under Labour? Nobody. Not one of you. Not one of you. They came into power 2 years ago, under 2 years ago, with a thumping majority. And all this talk of change and hope, they'd had 14 years to think about what they would do if they came into power, this Labour government. 14 years.
They didn't have 14 years though, did they? Because for 4 of those years, someone who believed in things was in charge.
Yes. Yeah, and the people who are now in charge weren't thinking of what they would do if they got into control of the party. They just thought about getting in control of the party.
Exactly, and so they had 5 years to think about things. And they spent those 5 years also not thinking about things and how do we specially expunge all of these people from the party.
Yeah, yeah. They would spend too long getting rid of the fleas to wonder what they would actually do if they ever got into Downing Street.
And what do? Day one, Keir Starmer says things are going to get worse before they get better. Well, he wasn't kidding. He wasn't kidding. We should have taken him at his word then.
So is Nigel Farage the answer, as Robert believes?
Well, the point I'm going to make is since then, we've had a series of broken promises and U-turns on an unprecedented scale. It's almost like every policy initiative Labour came up with, they've immediately done a screeching U-turn when the public has gone, what is this nonsense? And so it's been in my lengthy period in the media, 40 years or so, this has been the most shambles.
Wow, he was hacking mobile phones before mobile phones even existed. Amazing.
Symbolic government I have ever seen. And that is why you have now reform surging around the country. I don't think it's particular. I give them credit. In a few years that they've done this, it's an amazing achievement. I give them due credit. But the difficult part for them will come now, because I don't think people are voting for reform's plethora of beautifully thought out policies, because we don't know most of them. We know what they think about immigration, and people can have their view about that. But we also know that they are a product of persistently failing governments now going back nearly 2 decades. And you're seeing the same with the emergence of the Greens, and you're seeing all sorts of parties getting some traction away from the main parties, because we all think, don't we, really, a stain on both their houses. A stain on both their houses. And I think that if reform do end up with the keys to number 10, as you said, and I think Starmer, if he's watching, he should do the decent thing now and just resign and admit his culpability. But if you do, the really difficult questions are going to start coming thick and fast. And I would start with this one. Only last week, Reform, who were told are going to be this breath of fresh air, a change, a new hope for the country, we discovered their leader, Nigel Farage, gets a £5 million bung from some bloke in Thailand who has a crypto interest. What is that about? And why are we not talking about that more?
Yeah.
Okay. I will come and ask you that.
Shit, he made a good point. Holy fuck. Okay. Fair play, I guess.
I mean, it does seem to be the person who just doesn't seem to care about what he's saying as long as he gets a clap, so I mean, it's clear as sore
Yeah, I guess.
We'll get to that. And I'll come to you, Peter, in a minute. Let's just hear a bit from Osby. We'll definitely get to that. Man in the stripy T-shirt.
So if we're hoping for improvement, how are we going to get that with reform if the majority of their MPs are former Conservative MPs, and every single MP that they've got is a former member, at least, of the Conservative Party.
Okay, man in the...
Yeah. To quote the great Alan Partridge, they've rebadged it, you fool.
So true.
Green shirt there.
From the history that we've had, we were in a Conservative government for a long time, where the leadership changed and changed and changed, and nothing actually changed. So why do...
Oh my God, they let a Northerner in. Oh no. Oh.
Why do we not just stick with one term, with one Prime Minister, to allow us to see if he can actually make a difference in less than 2 years?
To be fair,
Peter.
To be fair, I think we've already seen he can make a difference. Not the difference we wanted. Not in the right direction at all, but he has made things significantly different. Worse.
That is presumably your view. I mean, there's something like 9 Labour MPs now have come out and said Keir Starmer needs to go. A number of cabinet members are now rowing in.
9. They have 400 and 9 of them have a backbone. Pathetic. Absolutely fucking pathetic. No surprise. Anyone who made it through the yum vetting system is bound to be a fucking droid. Yeah.
I mean, literally, like, they have the highest quality candidates, supposedly, and the line is, oh, we have to keep Keir because there's no one to fucking replace him. Who the fucking got his MPs then?
Al Khan's.
Behind him.
I think it is the point, but let me just be upfront with people about the scale of what's happened and how we are responding to it, and just acknowledge, in every election, political parties and those of us who are in leadership positions within political parties get a tap on the shoulder from the electorate, and it's either positive or negative. We have just had the rug pulled from underneath us.
I mean, it's been an absolute catastrophe, hasn't it?
It's just what I just said. Yes.
A total catastrophe.
I'm not denying that.
Okay.
I'm actually just to preface.
She just patted him on the shoulder. Oh, God. Oh.
The start by acknowledging that. We were voted on landslide just a couple of years ago because we had...
Well, no, you got a landslide under their incredibly undemocratic system. No one loved you. You might say it was a loveless landslide, perhaps. And now it's a listless landslide.
We had a period of decline in our country as a result of the financial crash, as a result of Brexit, as a result of COVID, as a result of Liz Truss's mini-budget and the Tories and the way they ran the country. And people wanted us to halt the decline. Now, I accept that we have not managed to halt the decline in a way that people feel in their pockets, that they see in their communities, and yes, in the opportunities that they have and they feel are before them. That is what we have to change. I also accept the point that when we came in, we did a lot of tough stuff, and the things that we have been investing in for the long term, the investment in our infrastructure, from Northern Powerhouse Rail to new runways to new reservoirs to 1.5 million homes.
You also changed your mind on a lot of things.
We will get there, but the benefits of the things we brought in at the beginning are not being felt yet. But the tough stuff we did at the beginning, and yes, some of those U-turns, we've already accepted. We should not have done, and we shouldn't have made the mistakes in the first place.
Given the question is, should Keir Starmer stay or should he go? In your heart, do you seriously believe that Keir Starmer can win the next election for Labour?
Amazing. What you're about to hear from Mr. Kyle will be a lie.
Well, it comes to the territory, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I don't think there is anything inevitable about success or failure of anyone around this table. We have seen the speed of which politics moves on. No. So I can. Absolutely, I do.
Really?
Told you. Told you it would be a lie.
Of course I do. Of course I do. There are lots of circumstances.
Anyone believe it?
Eric.
Oh, God. He's at least... Morgan's a cunt, but at least he's good value for it. Fuck.
I mean, literally, it was that bit where he started mocking Nigel Farage for not standing for the election. It was quite funny last time when he was on with
Well,
him.
literally, the whole reason that Nigel Farage is going to become Prime Minister is because of Piers fucking Morgan, the cunt. Should have just let him grow off into senility.
We thought that, but now we might actually be some fucking tiny billionaire.
Well, true, I guess.
There are lots of potential outcomes. Politics is coming at us very fast. There are big challenges on the international front at the moment. There are huge opportunities for our country, and we are straining at the bit. Now, I accept...
Where are these opportunities? Stop doing this American shit of our best days are ahead of us. No, they're not. What are you talking about? No. What opportunities are you referring to? Unless you mean we're going to rejoin the EU or something. I don't know what the fuck you mean by that.
Oh, yeah, like...
We have to do better at grabbing the opportunities, talking about the future, making sure, particularly when it comes to young people, that those million young people that we inherited, that were out of work, training and education, we get them into it and productive, but those key barriers to them succeeding in life and feeling optimistic about the future, we absolutely have to turn around.
Let's hear from some of these people.
Absolute pablum. Didn't mean fucking anything. Literally, that was just hot air.
I mean, it's funny, because Peter Kyle is literally the worst MP in the Commons. Not because he's, like, evil, or a bad person, or believes bad things, because certainly there are people who believe worse things. He's just useless.
Yeah.
He's fucking dead, and he's the absolute epitome of someone failing upwards. Achieved nothing, done nothing. All he is there to do is pad out the cabinet and be a foot soldier for Starmerism. He is an empty fucking vessel. He's even more of an empty vessel than Starmer is. His face makes me angry with how bland he is as a human being, how much of a non-entity he is. Just why? Why do you exist, Peter?
Quite so.
Lots of hands up. The woman at the front here.
You talk about young people. I'm a first year, but I've done it twice. In that time, the debt that I have accrued from doing my degree, which people might find useless, people might find whatever, I
just want to say, anyone who says that a university degree is useless, unless they're talking about PPE, which is useless. Actually, no, not useless, evil. Right? Anyone who says that a university degree is useless, it doesn't know what they're talking about. They're fucking idiots. You go and study whatever the fuck you want to study. I don't give a fuck if you can make a living out of it. I haven't made a fucking damn thing with my degree. But you know what? I'm a infinitely richer person. Not financially, but in every other capacity for having gone through the experience.
100%.
Film. And I have a disability, and I've always been told you have to get a degree to get anywhere because your start line is so much further back. I can't really work a consistent part-time job. I occasionally do. I have uni that by the end of it it's so burnt out, and who is gonna foot that bill in 10-20 years time? Me. So why are we doing this where it's just compounding pressure on everyone, and I don't see it solved in...
Well, because young people don't vote, so politicians don't care about them.
Yeah. Have you considered that maybe it would help? Obviously, on top of the mountain of debt, we also cut your welfare as a disabled person?
Yeah.
That helps.
Yeah.
Labour and Conservatives in reform.
In any of the parties?
I don't.
And that student debt is something that...
Did you say... someone in my chat is claiming you said that people who use VPNs are pedos.
What?
I disagree with NJ. Calling anyone who uses VPNs pedos is pretty evil, apparently.
Where did I say that?
I don't know, but I just thought that was funny. No, did you? Maybe you joked about it once, I don't know.
I don't think I did, but Alex, I don't believe that.
Okay, well then.
It comes up a lot on this programme. There's a woman further back. Let's hear from you.
Just going back to the question about whether or not Keir Starmer can survive, I think we've all seen in the public at this point that he's very comfortable with other people to lose their jobs and for him to keep his. So I think he probably will be able to survive, and also the fact that there isn't a viable alternative in the government at the moment either. Just something from what Piers also mentioned, you guys had 14 years in opposition. It's just not good enough. Maybe you've been held to higher account than other governments because we were all used to Tory malaise for so long, but it's just not okay. And whether or not this tap on the shoulder will shake the government up into actually committing to something and not U-turning on it in a week, I think all of us can appreciate if there's a policy that isn't popular. I'd rather a politician have an opinion and stick to it than U-turn. It doesn't help any of us in the end. We don't know if we're coming or going.
Dave, can Keir Starmer survive after these election results?
Absolutely not. And I'll tell you why that is. It's not just about these election results.
Oh, not injured. Peter Kyle said that. What?
Oh, what? Fuck, that's crazy.
Hang on, did he? Oh, hang on. Hang on. Peter Kyle, VPN, I guess. Each time you use a verification, if you want to overturn the Online Safety Act, you're on the side of predators. It's as simple as that. Oh, okay, so he's just talking about the Online Safety Act. Okay, yeah. Well, Peter Cole doesn't believe anything, so like it doesn't whatever he says is just something that someone at Westminster has told him to say. So don't take it seriously. He's not deciding any of this.
Today and yesterday, it's not just about the unforgivable, unfathomable appointment of Peter Mandelson, an associate of the world's most prolific paedophile, which the Prime Minister knew when he appointed him to that role. He claims now he just didn't know how much of a sympathiser with the world's most prolific paedophile, and he thinks...
No, Robert Jenrick, you don't get to nod along to this. You don't get to nod along to this. Your party leader is literally a fucking dick rider for another friend of that exact same pedo. It's just that that friend happens to be the President of the United States right now. So you don't get to nod along like you're also against paedophilia. Obviously, yeah, definitely. Fuck off.
That washes. He has zero understanding of how ordinary people think and what ordinary people's values are. But over and above the election and over and above the Mandelson scandal, it's about what's happened over the last 2 years to ordinary people. Large swathes of England have demonstrated in these local elections what we've known in Scotland for some time, and that is that Westminster isn't working, or insofar as it is working, it's working in the interests of Westminster. It's not working in the interests of communities across London or more widely in England, and that's because it's this cosy duopoly between the Tories and the Labour Party, which is actually no more sophisticated than it's our turn now, and in a while it will be your turn. And back and forward it's gone for the last 100 years. And look at the state of the fundamentals in the economy.
See, no, that's faulty. You were on a roll. 100 years. There have been very significant differences between the Labour Party and the Tory Party in the 100 years. I don't think you can say that the Thatcher government and the Attlee government are the same. They weren't a duopoly. That's silly. I think you can argue that in the last 40 years, they've been pretty fucking similar. True. Which is why, by the way, has coincided massively with the rise of the SNP, because the SNP, an independence party, was always going to rise when Westminster didn't govern on behalf of the entire nation at all.
No.
Yeah. Which is why, of course, you're seeing the same thing happening in Wales now as well. Albeit they're further behind the process in that regard, but they're still, they've just become the largest party for the first time. Well done to Plaid Cymru. You could say it's well played.
Where the UK spends more on debt interest than it spends on defence and education in England combined. It's utterly appalling. And while that's all happening, under Angela Rayner, the Chancellor, that this weak Prime Minister can't bring to heel, much less dismiss and replace with somebody else, the economy is tanking, growth is flat, unemployment is up, investment is down,
Dave, it's worth pointing out, it's not all rosy in the Scotland garden when it comes to the SNP. I mean, far be it from me to say, but I mean, you've got, in Scotland, for example, 9% of patients are waiting over a year for a treatment on the NHS. In England, it's 2%. And that's on your watch.
That is on our watch. And waiting lists in Scotland under the SNP have been coming down every month, month on month, for the last 10 years. We have got the same problem that England had, and we've approached it in different ways.
Much worse.
And incidentally, we measure it in different ways as well. So these things are. But do remember, though, to your point, that what happens in England is not contingent on the political choices we make in Scotland. But what happens in Scotland is contingent on the political choices that are made in Westminster.
Well,
and that's
NHS
a fundamental
is devolved, Dave,
difference.
as you know.
That's
so
a
those
fundamental
are your
difference.
choices.
Yes.
Well, yes and no. Obviously, Scotland does send MPs to Westminster, and that does have an impact. So it's not entirely true to say that it doesn't have any impact. I know that they have, like, they separate it into, you know, the caucus for England and Wales and all of that when voting on specific things. But the idea that the balance of power in Westminster doesn't matter is a little bit silly.
But the budgets that are allocated to the Scottish Government by the Westminster Government is not devolved, and we will always be working with one arm tied behind our back.
Can I just check one thing?
Under those circumstances.
At the moment, not all the results are in for Scotland. So we've had the constituency results, we haven't had the list results. Your leader, John Swinney, said if there is an SNP majority, we will call for another referendum. If you fall short of an outright majority, are you not going to call for that, or are you still going to go for a referendum in 2028, should you be able to get it?
So, you're quite right. That was our campaign plan. Not all the seats have declared, and we don't know what's going to happen with the list votes that we have in Scotland as well.
Sure, so if you don't get an outright majority, are you going to abandon that?
So the reason we were pursuing an outright majority is because the UK...
Don't do the politician thing, SNP. Don't do it. She asked you a pretty serious, like, straightforward question. If you don't know, say, I don't know, I'm not the fucking leader. Ask John Swinney, you prick. Or whatever, right? Like, but don't be like, just ignore it and start answering a different question. Either you are going to, or you're not going to. And if you haven't decided, say, we haven't decided.
There's so many politicians who think we still live in the Blair era where you can just do that.
Yeah.
But you know, people kind of accept that when things are kind of okay and kind of pootering along at whatever speed. When things are absolutely diabolical and everyone is like hankering for a new direction or a new vision, you need to be able to articulate that down to a fine detail. And but people are offering like dreams or nothing or continual decline, and that people refuse to accept nothing answers anymore.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, we do have a lot of people watching. Hello everyone. You can hit the follow button.
That's my usual follow. Actually, my usual watchers have migrated over.
I imagine so. If you're new here, you can hit the follow button and all of that jazz.
Do it. Subscribe on YouTube. It's free.
Literally free. Although if you want to financially contribute, that is also possible on both Twitch and YouTube.
Yeah, 99p for membership on YouTube.
Literally. Anyway, it sounds like Helena's reporting from a war zone. She is from fucking Sadiq Khan's war zone, Londonistan.
I'm currently in like on the streets of Fallujah.
Literally.
It is a war zone given the amount of Labourites who've been fucking, murdered. Electorally speaking.
Okay. Thank you for the clarification.
Massacre.
Well, exactly. Across the entire country, an absolute bloodbath.
So it really is the sum of UK electoral politics.
Exactly, but Keir Starmer's going to send over another wave. He don't care. He's very much the General Haig of modern British politics. No, but if we just do sensible politics for the millionth time, they'll never see it coming.
Precedents in the absence of a written constitution.
Okay, but that's not the question I'm asking. The question I'm asking very clearly, Dave, is if you don't get an outright majority, in the moment we don't know, will you still press for a referendum, an independence referendum in 2028?
We will continue to pursue independence, whether that's with a referendum in 2028 or some other mechanism, and I'll tell you why that is. It's fundamental.
They should genuinely pull a Catalonia on this one and just say, no, we'll hold our own fucking referendum.
Yeah.
Fuck what you have to say about it. Look, if you want to be authoritarian pricks like the Spanish central government and, come after us for holding a vote a peaceful democratic vote, you just reveal yourselves to be what we've been saying you are, which is not governing in our interests and not interested in the voice of the Scottish people. You make the case for independence that much stronger if you try and stamp that out. So if the SNP have got any balls, and I think our friend with the rolled R's, if he does become leader, does have that backbone, don't say no for an answer. Say no, fuck you. You don't get to decide at London. The people of Scotland decide on Scotland.
It's going to be interesting to see what happens when the SNP decide the time is pull the trigger on like on John Swinney continuity.
Yeah.
John McSweeney, on like whether or not his kind of like boring kind of non-entity politics is worth continuing with. 'Cause it's working pretty well when everyone's kind of entirely focused on Westminster psychodrama.
Yeah.
But there'll become a time when you need a firebrand, and they'll have to pull the trigger on Stephen Flynn.
Yeah, exactly. Flynn, like you imagine Flynn's on the bench because like they're not going to get rid of him just after he's won a significant, victory at an election. But give it 18 months, it'll be mid-term, and there'll be a bit of dissatisfaction or whatever, and Flynn can come off the bench and try and reinvigorate the team, as it were. You would imagine. Thank you for where are we? Oh God, lots of things happened. Thank you, James Holmes, for 22 months of membership. You mad bastard, seek help. Similarly, for 2 months from Stephen, much love. James Holmes with 10 gifties, and Idiosyncrasy with 20 months. And, oh my God, even more. Shelley Purcell with 5 gifties. Much love to you, everyone. Honestly, you could have... now it's legal. You can go and buy heroin everywhere because Zach Polanski is the king or something. You should have just done that.
So this election that's been...
Did you see the... this is from a couple of weeks ago now, but it's still funny. Did you see the flyer that was being put around by... I think it was the Labour Party, wasn't it?
It's always the Labour Party, isn't it?
The home of addiction thing?
No.
Oh, okay. This is a belter. Here we go. So they put out this like flyer thing, and obviously it's meant to be like, a takedown of their policy. And it says the home of addiction, and it's got a series of prices for lowest price heroin, you got weed, coke, a free syringe, and then various pills and bongs. Bargain Buzz brought to you by the Green Party. Darlington Green Party say they want to make Class A drugs as easily accessible as alcohol and cigarettes. Don't risk it. Don't vote Green.
What's funny, right? It's kind of
Oh,
like
is that...
easy to find
Sorry, that's Conservatives. Apologies, but yeah, look at that.
I'll make it easy to find as alcohol. Yeah, that thing that definitely has no negative externalities. That definitely doesn't cause a massive amount of strain upon the NHS every year.
You know who doesn't get really, really, really violent? People who have just had a spliff. You know who does get violent?
So
anyone who's had a fucking sniff of a pint. Do you know what I mean? Fucking hell. Honestly, give me someone who's just had a rip on a bong over someone who's just come out of a fucking boozer any day.
So true.
Holy fuck. Anyway. So we are the home of addiction, everyone. Vote Green, smoke Green. Let's go.
Counted today will return a 2/3 majority in the Scottish Parliament of independence supporting parties. The SNP have secured 40% of the vote in these elections, with independence as our priority on top of the cost of living.
I love it that you're going with the prices there. £3 for Coke's amazing. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's a great advertisement for the Green Party. Really cheap drugs.
I mean, like, either you pay a tenner for a pint in London, or you pay and you have to keep doing it every pint, or you get one baggie on the cheap once.
Yeah, exactly. That's the way it works. And you can get it in the supermarket as well.
Literally, you'll be able to get crack cocaine. That's how that works, right?
Soft on Putin, high on drugs. Let's go.
That is what we're delivering for the people of Scotland.
So Liz, in Wales, the results have been extraordinary. I mean, Labour has dominated politics in Wales for a century.
Yeah.
Tonight, no longer. And Plaid is the biggest party, just short of a majority, but none.
They've been taking Wales for granted for so long. Look, even worse than Scotland, I would argue. If you remember, people remember. What was the seat? It used to be their safest seat ever, and I can't remember the fucking name of it. Really annoying. Anyway, they decided to put in because they wanted to do an all-women shortlist thing, but this was under Tony Blair. This was, and they managed to somehow lose a majority of something like 25,000 or some ridiculous, absurd number, because they wanted their preferred candidate over the person that the local party had picked. And they've been doing this for years. They just think that they can just rule the roost. They've become masters rather than servants of the Welsh people, and that's not going to be tolerated.
No,
since the days of Owen Glendower, they've not been fucking playing that shit.
The less the biggest party. Independence. It's Plaid are kind of back, unlike the SNP, are going gangbusters for it. Plaid are rowing back on that idea.
Gangbusters? De-yankification now! Fucking gangbusters. Suck a dick.
I presume that's because you think you're not going to take the voters with you.
Well, for us now, and of course I'm very aware that I am here in London. I am here in London to talk about Wales. The question was about Keir Starmer, but Keir Starmer is part of the symptom of what is wrong with the United Kingdom as a political system. And what we have seen in Wales, of course, is a historic event today. The Labour Party has lost its 100 years grasp on Wales, and it has done that to my party, Plaid Cymru, and Plaid Cymru wants to see devolution working in Wales. I'm sure there are many places within England as well where we could see devolution working way more effectively for their communities, because what we have seen for decades, longer even, is that Westminster works very well for certain people and certain communities, and it leaves the rest behind. So what has won for Plaid Cymru in Wales is a hope for the future, that change can actually mean something besides peddling fear and hatred and division within communities.
But not necessarily independence, Liz. Is that right?
Again, coming over to Plaid Cymru, with Plaid Cymru as the majority. Plaid Cymru, of course, we want further devolution, we want further powers. We are the party that stands for independence.
Well, that's further devolution. Hang on, Liz, I just want to be really clear.
We have told the people of Wales that that is their decision.
Sure, but what do you, you're the party now. You are the biggest party.
We have told them.
Are you saying to the people who vote for you, we're going for independence? The impression I'm getting is you're not.
We have told them that in the first instance, because the deal that they have been dealt with devolution in Wales is so bad, it has so ill-served the people of Wales, that our job in the first instance is to make it work. And then when people can see the confidence that we can do something better ourselves, then we'll be on a journey. But that journey has to find its own way.
Okay.
Pause and second.
Can Kiss?
So my headphones have run out of battery, so I probably can't go on much longer. Unfortunately, I probably can't go on any longer because I won't be able to.
Yeah, that's fine. But you can drop it. You've had a long day anyway, so go and.
Yeah, you'll probably otherwise you'll keep hearing me off my phone speak coming through your microphone. Right?
Yeah, that's fair enough. Okay, everyone, go and follow No Justice MTJ.
Please do that, and also make sure that you give Kevin your money right now. Immediately,
so I can buy cheap heroin at the Polanski superstore.
Let's fucking go, and then exactly, and you can give me money as well, and then I can go and get my boobs hypnotized larger. Let's fucking go.
Exactly.
Everything I ever wanted from a political party: drugs and tits.
Let's go. Two best things in life.
Honestly, literally, it's as if you they keep attacking him. It's like they want him to be PM.
Yeah, exactly. They're going to make him PM, and I'm very much here for it. Yeah.
Anyway, I'm going to go. Thank you very much, and I will see you all. I won't stream tomorrow. I'll see what time I get back. Maybe we'll do some Koensberg on Sunday.
Okie doke. Enjoy your weekend and all that jazz.
See you later. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Yes. Oh, and by the way, everybody, the seat I was thinking of, the Welsh Labour seat thing, was Blaenau Gwent. Was the place. I had to look it up because it was annoying me. Anyway, yeah, Blaenau Gwent, previously held by the likes of Michael Foot and Nye Bevan, right? And then the Labour Party ended up fucking losing it by being a prick and taking it for granted. As you do. when you're authoritarians, as the Labour Party are. So I know your net cables were chewed out by Brummy rats, but what's the situation with the posh bird? Well, she's in London right now, being a nerd, a big old nerd, and playing Magic the Gathering, which has nothing to do with the name. That's Marjorie Taylor Greene, big fan. No, she's a big Magic the Gathering person, so that's what she's doing there. So she was in a hotel room on her phone. So yeah. Anyway, you're left with me for the second half of the show, though, or the second 2/3 of the show. That's a beautiful room, by the way. I've just noticed that. Is this the next? It looks from the gallery. It looks like an old Victorian swimming bath viewing area place, but it's clearly like some sort of council building. It's beautiful. It's a lovely piece of architecture. Anyway. Pronounced Blenaigwent. Apologies to the Welsh, who I do try and get the names of places right. I do like surprising Welsh people by pronouncing Llandudno correctly, because people usually say Llandudno, because that's how an Angloid would fucking say it. Dickheads. Anyway, it has occult vibes, does it? I'm not sure about that. I think you're reading too much into it. It's not that deep, fam. Thank you, Jacob R. Jacob WR, even, with 10 gifties on the YouTube. Much love to you, my friend. Money given to Kev by order of no justice, by order of the Peaky Blinders, etc. That's a thing that needs to stop, by the way. Birmingham City Football Club, I love all the fans to death and all the rest of it, but any cunt turning up to the fucking stadium looking like a member of the Peaky Blinders because it's a fucking cosplay situation for you, you cunts, get fucked. What are you doing? They turn up looking like the Peaky Blinders, you fucking minges. Behave yourself. Honestly, you're worse than the fucking blokes who turn up in the full kit. What are you doing? Anyway, like, we get it. Birmingham doesn't get great representation in the media. It's nice to have an anti-hero to celebrate, etc., etc. But just fucking wind it in. Thank you, Wayward Historian, with 1312 bid. Oh, for fuck's sake, I haven't got it plugged in. I'll just do the thing. Fuck the police. Fuck the police. I haven't got it plugged in. I could plug it in. I'm not fucking gonna. Anyway, thank you, Wayward Historian, with a random series of numbers. That's number one.
Starmer survive? Not for long. And not because of these election results. These are a symptom of a much wider problem. It's Keir Starmer's judgment. Lindsay, you asked the question. It's his judgment's the problem. And whether it's Peter Mandelson, the appointment of Peter Mandelson, whether it's...
And can I just say, actually, just for legal reasons, I have to point that Peter Mandelson denies he acted criminally.
No, but you can't deny that Keir Starmer appointed him as the ambassador for the UK.
I will not be congratulating that football club.
To the US, a man who'd had to resign twice in scandal. So it was a poor decision. The Chagos Islands, a poor decision.
Chagos! They're never going to let it go. Do you think the people of Britain give a fuck about the Chagos Islands? Not a single cunt in the entire country gives the slightest fuck about the fucking Chagos Islands. Shut the fuck up about it. Please. Actually, no, don't. To talk about it until oblivion. Because that's ultimately where you're going to end up. Completely gone. Destroyed as a political entity. Because you won't shut the fuck up about this absolute non-issue. Fucking hell.
The removing of that from pensioners, a poor decision. The family farm tax, family business tax. And this is why the government is falling apart under the leadership of Keir Starmer. He's not up to the job. I'm sorry to say that, but he's simply not. And I think
that is true.
Enough Labour backbenchers or cabinet ministers will go to the Prime Minister and say it's time for you to go. And I don't think that'll be days, but I think it may be weeks or months, but he will not get to the next election. One thing
well, to be fair, Gibraltar shouldn't be British either, but I think people of Britain would give more of a fuck about Gibraltar on the basis that British people do live there. Same with the Falklands, I suppose. Like, the people of the Chagos Islands, I don't believe, are British citizens, are they? Like, it's not, they're not, like, it's not a part of the country or something. It's just some islands that we kind of own, which we shouldn't. And up until a few months ago, no one had heard of this. And even the people that have heard of it are political nerds. Your average person doesn't know what the fuck a Chagos Island is. If you went, oh, what's your opinion on the Chagos? They'd say, who's he just signed for? Like, is he a Spanish striker? Is he? You know, like.
Say about this whole thing, and I've been a member of Parliament for 11 years, I was in business for 30 years before that, is governing is more difficult than people think. And that's one thing I'll give to Keir Starmer, is it's tough. And there's lots of different economic pressures. And
Oh, no. When I was talking about Gibraltar and the Falklands, that wasn't my opinion. I was saying the people of Britain would care about that. I think these fucking things should all be given back. The remnants of the empire should be dealt with accordingly. With the proper protections given to people who are British citizens. I don't think they should be fucking ethnically cleansed or something. But, like, yeah. I'm just saying from the perspective of the British people, they would care about that in a way that they absolutely couldn't give two fucks about Chagos. So the Tories going on about this as if it's a vote winner or anything is it's actually quite funny, you know. Who the Falklands to be given to? Well, this is the thing. I don't think you can give the Falklands to anybody. But what you could do is have a dual sovereignty situation where the Argentines would have access to the waters and a certain access to the land and all the rest of it, and so would Britain, so that they could actually protect the British citizens who already live there. I think that's a reasonable counterbalance, right? It's not an ideal situation, but nothing's going to be ideal. We're dealing with the residue of a fucking awful empire. So no solution you come up with that actually protects the people involved on the ground is going to be ideal. But what you could do is ease the tension that is felt across the entirety of Latin America towards Britain for its obvious fuckery in the Malvinas Islands, right? Known in the Anglosphere as the Falklands. By having a dual sovereignty situation and taking it off the table as like a thing. And this is the thing, right? The in many respects, I'll use a US based analogy for you, right? You know how the Democratic Party never wanted to enshrine Roe versus Wade into law because it was always like a good wedge issue for them to fundraise on and to get people like scared about to vote for them, and then eventually it got taken away. Because they had plenty of opportunities where they had, you know, the opportunity, the seats and the votes available to actually do that, and they didn't. In Argentina, they have a similar thing here, where realistically they know they're not going to be able to militarily take it, because they literally tried that shit, and they haven't gotten like richer or more militarily, viable since 1982. So they're not going to be able to do that. So realistically, they know that, there's no way of forcing Britain to do anything about this. But what they can do is distract their own electorate from internal problems by going down. There's I don't know what it's called, but there's like a place on the very south coast in Argentina, which has like a sign that says how many miles or kilometres to the Falklands Islands and all of that. And it's like seen as this staging post where the president goes to, the president of Argentina will go to this place and point out across the ocean and say, the Malvinas are Argentinas and all the rest of it. And it's a big like showpiece that they do. And it's a way of distracting from internal matters. When internal situation gets so fucking like bad, as it regularly does, because financially it's been an absolute fuck up ever since the fall of the junta and all the rest of it. Although it was fuck up before then, but especially since then, democratic rule has been troubled. Tierra del Fuego, possibly, yeah. Anyway. And so they'll go down to this fucking place and they do a photo op saying, the Malvinas need to be taken back. It needs to be returned to Argentina. And you saber rattle towards Britain and stir up this hornet's nest of shit in the region on the basis that you just want to distract from the fact that the economy is fucking absolute garbage, whilst actually doing nothing about it, because the more you saber rattle, the less likely it is that Britain's going to be able to do anything realistically, politically about that. Any government in Britain that wanted to do that deal would find it impossible to do that deal on the basis at the moment that the Argentine government keep fucking, like, being bellicose and causing huge amounts of trouble over a thing that they know they can't achieve. At least in the short term, right? So... Has he resigned yet? Unfortunately not.
And anybody's trying to run this country at the moment. That's a reality. And so we've got to look at governing this country through the lens of it's difficult. And one or two of the parties here, and Rob has said, you know, people want change. Well, they're getting change in Kent, where you've got a council there, and it's not a good change. A reform council there, and it's not good change. You've seen a tenth of the reform councillors either resign or defect since they're appointed last year, since they elected last year. It is tough to do this, to make the book.
To be fair, how many of your MPs have resigned and joined the Reform Party at that time as well? Like, there's a fair churn in every direction there.
Balance. That's the reality. So saying they were going to cut taxes, and they didn't mean council taxes now, you know, it was just cutting other kind of taxes. That's, you know, you make these kind of promises, you've got to be able to deliver on them. That's the reality. We, in opposition, we made our mistakes in government. We did some good things too. We made our mistakes.
Did you do some good things? What were the good things, Kevin? Not Kevin Babdrabobs. This is Kevin Hollenrake.
What were the good things?
Well, we balanced the books after the financial crash.
No, you didn't. No, you absolutely did not.
Would you accept that the Tories, for a very long period of time before Keir Starmer came into Downing Street, do you accept that you too, with collective governments and Prime Minister, were an abject failure to this?
I don't think an abject failure.
I get a bit fed up, honestly.
You asked me the question.
No, but I get fed up with politicians saying, it's tough. It's tough.
Well,
Let me tell you, I bet most...
You've never done it, Piers.
No, but I tell you what, I could do a better job than you lot.
Well, that's easy to say from the sideline.
I bet we spoke earlier, before the show started, to a gentleman at the top who works in a hospital in ICU, I think he said. I suspect he has a tougher day shift than the average politician. So when I hear politicians talking about it's tough.
See, how much of a wanker have you got to be to make Piers Morgan seem like the down-to-earth, sensible, like, good guy? How much of an absolute shithouse have you got to be to make Piers Morgan able to take the high ground on you and absolutely just mercilessly dunk on you? Oh! Grotesque.
I reckon we could go around this whole audience and find a lot of people who have a tougher, job. Let's find a politician who thinks this is an exciting challenge, not a tough job.
Let's let Kevin answer.
You sat there saying you could do a better job, having never done the job. I was 30 years in my own business, building it from a small business to a national one over 30 years. You can imagine how hard that work that was. I worked more hours every week than I did back then. It is a tough job. There's no...
I exploited people ruthlessly for 30 years. I'm a good boy. Honestly, get in the wood chipper, you cunt. Metaphorically, of course.
Question. What you need is a good leader. I think we've got a good leader in Kemi Badenoch. I think we...
Who's that? Can anyone tell me who that person is? I would scroll back, but my finger is tired.
We need a good team. We've got a good team and a plan, and we need to set out our plans and subject them to scrutiny. Just a final point, just being the SNP, because that's such an instructive point. David, you were criticising the economy of the UK. Scotland has been the worst performing part of the UK in terms of the economy.
That's absolutely not true.
That's absolutely not true. If Scotland had grown at the same pace as the rest of the UK, the economy would be £11 billion larger. That's a reality.
So, Scotland's economic output is habitually in the top quartile of the UK. Foreign direct investment, Scotland outperforms every other element of the UK.
Your economy is growing more slowly, David.
We've got more people in work.
He looks Like, honestly, what we need to do is take a photo of this man and put it in sepia tone, and he would genuinely look like I don't even know, like a Civil War era general or something. Like this guy was a sergeant in the North Carolina infantry or something. You know what I mean? Like he looks like an old timey person. And I'm here for it. You know, chat, I've said this before, we need to bring back A, lots of facial hair, and B, elaborate as fuck facial hair. You don't get the kind of curly ass moustaches that you used to. And I'm not just talking little Poirot ones, although fair play to Hercule, lovely stuff, mate. I'm talking the big fuck off, like big bushy cunts, you know? Oh, glorious.
And fewer people out of work. If that's a failing economy, no one...
Look, Nietzsche, right, was a fucking shithouse, a fascist shithouse. I won't have anything good said about him, except absolutely epic moustache. Have you seen Friedrich Nietzsche's moustache? Oh, how do I spell this? Nietzsche, oh god. Moustache. Look at it! Gaze upon its glory. His ideas were shit. His facial furniture was fucking S tier. Oh, fucking glorious.
You got voted out.
Right, well, we can all trade statistics. I'm going to come back to you in a minute. I just want to come back to one point because I knew it would come up. So, Robert, since you're here, I want to ask you about it. This £5 million donation to Nigel Farage from Christopher Harborne, it was a gift. Apparently, Nigel Farage...
Well, okay, he wasn't a fascist as such. And actually, he did have some good things to say about how religion poisons things and stuff. Like, he's a bit more complicated than just he was a fascist. But, like, if you look at his work, it's easy to understand why fascists warmed to his stuff. Like, it's pretty gross. Like, he was a very bad person in many respects. Like, he had all this obsession with, like, war and conquest and fucking... He was a really vile misogynist. Really bad, but anyway. Yeah, proto-fascist, I suppose you could say. Like, I don't... Oh, look at this. I don't know who the fuck this man is, but I want to shake his hand and then touch every follicle on his face. That's like... It's like a little furry animal is hugging his chin. It's absolutely fucking spectacular. Glorious.
Says with no strings attached. Is it just coincidence, then?
He looks like Daniel Radcliffe, does he? I guess.
That Nigel Farage wants the Bank of England to have a Bitcoin reserve and halve tax on crypto deals?
Yeah, but it's not a quid pro quo, honest. No, it's definitely not. He hasn't been bought and paid for by fucking crypto. No. Yeah, he wants a Bitcoin reserve because he was given 5 million quid by a crypto bro. Yeah, like it's really nakedly obvious why this is happening. Good night, Slow Loris. Much love.
I think the real scandal here is that you've got one of the most senior politicians in this country who is provided with absolutely no security for him and his family. He's someone who is in danger, whose home has been firebombed, who has had many, many threats. And
sure, but that's no reason for him not to declare it.
Well, he had no need to declare it. The rules are very clear. Well, that if you get a gift as a private individual before you've been elected to Parliament, before you're even a candidate for Parliament, you're under no obligation to make a declaration.
It depends which... Listen, Robert, you know as well as I do, it depends which bit of the rules... Depends which bits of the Code of Conduct you read. It also says if there's any doubt as to whether that could imply any sense of being beholden, you should declare it.
It doesn't imply any sense because...
So it is just... The point I made, it is just coincidence,
At the time that Nigel accepted this gift, he wasn't even standing to be a member of Parliament.
That's irrelevant.
Let alone... That's how the rules...
You know that.
But if I may...
Yeah, but the rules... I don't give a fuck about the rules. We all know the rules are absolute fucking bullshit. We all know the rules are nonsense. It's clearly and obviously a conflict of interest if you are given £5 million by a person whose industry you want to reduce the tax on and massively integrate into the British state. Now, it could be perfectly innocent. It could be that Nigel Farage always wanted to do that policy. It could absolutely be the case. But I think it's only fair that the British public are made aware of the potential for a conflict of interest, and then they can make their decision accordingly. Nigel Farage felt otherwise.
Finish my point. The government could resolve this issue tomorrow if they provided Nigel Farage with security for him and his family. And I can tell you this.
So what, he then give the $5 million back? Is that what you're saying?
He would have no...
I'm asking.
No,
would he
but
then?
he would have no need to find private money to fund his own security. Look, somebody laughed in the audience, but I've known 2 members of Parliament who've been killed in the time I've been in the House of Commons.
Well, one of them by people who, you know, have suspiciously similar views to yourself.
I myself have been a recipient of death threats. My wife is Jewish. We receive anti-Semitic abuse all the time. It is sometimes tough going into...
Do you mean people call you a Zionist? Because I'm genuinely getting to that point now where people say, I've been receiving anti-Semitic abuse. And my instinct thought is not, that's terrible. My instinct thought is, I bet they mean like they've been criticised for saying horrific shit in support of Israel. And they've decided to interpret that as anti-Semitic abuse. Because that happens far more regularly than actual anti-Semitic abuse. So just playing the numbers... you know,
to public life. And I think those people who do, particularly the most prominent politicians in this country, which Nigel is arguably one or the second most prominent person in British politics today, perhaps after the Prime Minister, I believe those people should be protected.
Can I ask one question?
Hang on, Piers, wait 1 minute.
Just complete the point.
Wait 1 minute.
If reform was in government, and if any of the politicians on this panel came to myself, if I was Chancellor of the Exchequer or Zia Youssef was Home Secretary, and said there were credible threats to them or their family, in the blink of an eye would provide them with the security.
So let me
that they
ask you
deserve.
again then,
And I think
Robert.
that's what everybody in the country should do.
If the government pledged to give Nigel Farage the security he desires, would he give that $5 million back?
Well, he doesn't need to do that because it was a gift, but that's...
Wow.
You're being laughed at, Bobby. Being laughed at, mate.
But that's...
Well, it was a gift for that.
It was a gift for that purpose.
So if he no longer needs it, why would he
let's
just
see
give
if
it
the
back?
government do
Rob,
that.
there's another way of
I would
sorting
like the
this out.
government
There's
to
no-
do this. And
is Nigel
it's all very
Farage-
easy for you to mock this, but...
No, I'll tell you why I'm mocking.
Imagine if you were
I'll tell you why I'm mocking.
Imagine if you were subject to severe... Maybe you have been.
I've had death threats.
Well, I think
You're
people
not the
who
only
go
ones
into
who
public
get death
life should
threats.
be properly supported
Listen,
and protected.
listen, here's the point. If it was Keir Starmer, and we discovered last week he'd taken £5 million without declaring it from some crypto millionaire in Thailand, you'd have gone absolutely berserk.
Yeah. Again, you've got to say, when he's right, he's right. Piers Morgan is a scumbag, and it disgusts me to have to agree with him, but he makes a solid point there.
It's total hypocrisy. Total hypocrisy.
It's not. The difference here, Piers, is we're talking about a gift before somebody was even a member of
Yes, but
Parliament.
you know, you have to declare it within the 12 months before you become an
Not
MP.
if it's a gift.
Rob, there's a way of
no
clearing this up.
strings
There's a way of
attached
clearing
to
this up, which we would all accept and agree to. Nigel Farage could refer himself to the Parliamentary
He's done
Standards
nothing
Commissioner.
wrong.
No, he could do that. There is doubt over this, Rob.
Do you think someone like Nigel Farage should get security from the government so that he can walk?
Absolutely not, Phantom.
I think if there's a case to do that, it should be answered on its merits. I'm not against that.
Okay,
Motherfucker, he got some milkshake thrown at him. Why does he need £5 million for that? Shut the fuck up.
Tell you what, I've got 2 minutes and I want to bring the audience in because
And I would just
you've
say,
not got much to know.
You asked this question last week to Zia Youssef, who was on the programme. He gave a similar answer.
I love it that they've had like a couple of... This is how, like, London doesn't even see, I think, the London media establishment doesn't even see how demeaning it is to the people of Scotland and Wales. They've got a Plaid Cymru representative there, they've got an SNP representative, and they've, like, talked about Scotland and Wales barely. They've barely touched on it. They've talked about... The one question they've had so far has been Keir Starmer, so a London MP, Englishman. They've talked about Nigel Farage, Essex MP, Englishman. They've barely touched on it. But to the people at Westminster, they'll be like, "But we had some representation of Scotland and Wales. Tickety boo! Aren't we very inclusive?" Fucking tragic. And they wonder why the people of Scotland and Wales are like, maybe we'd be better off if we just we weren't with these cunts, you know? Maybe we could just do our own shit. Seems like they're not even fucking watching. Like, would they even notice? If we just went independent, would they just be like, oh, a colony is broken away? Oh no. Like, would they even recognise it? I don't know. Anyway. Thank you, Arabelle. Full solidarity to Newark and Sherwood Greens for having to deal with Jenrick. Yeah, no, that is fair. Yeah. Absolutely fucking... God, what a shithouse he is. And I genuinely have a horrible sneaking suspicion he's going to be Prime Minister one day. Not because he deserves to be or he'd be good at it, but he's such a careerist cunt in a system that's built to advance the careers of careerist cunts. And Nigel Farage is such a flaky piece of shit that he might win an election and then, like, instantly get bored and decide to go and make some money again or something. That this wanker could become Prime Minister, and that genuinely makes me rich. He is skeevy as fuck, yeah, and everyone knows it, but Reform people, ultimately, the thing we have to bear in mind here is that Reform people don't care. Reform people know one thing, which is these fuckers don't like migrants, and I also don't like migrants. That's it. So it doesn't matter what else they do. They're exactly like MAGA in many respects, yeah. They don't give two fucks. Like, Nigel Farage could have taken 100 million quid from this guy, and they wouldn't care.
Answer to the one that I've given. Smears essentially like this have been thrown at Reform politicians for weeks and weeks, and they have failed.
I'm not sure I've made a smear. I have simply asked questions.
Millions of people have gone out and voted for Reform. So these smears from establishment parties and parts of the media will come, I'm certain, in the months and the years to come.
Do you think it's a smear to ask the question?
I do think you are doing this.
It's a smear to... Oh, shit, I got rid of the wrong fucking window. Bollocks. Damn you, Georgi Radkovsky. And your glorious moustache. I got rid of the wrong fucking window. Oh, you absolute fucking goober. Hopefully...
It's busy. You were doing this to smear something.
Hey, thank fuck it fucking remembered, because I had no idea where we were.
Wow. Because he has not broken any rules. There's no evidence of that whatsoever. He's a man who's purely motivated with his own protection and that of his partner.
Right,
and
let's
his
hear
family.
from our audience. Man there in the front.
I feel like every major party at some point has had a scandal about donors, huge amounts of money being thrown around to buy influence. I'm a student, I'm staring down the barrel of near enough £50,000 in debt to go to university. It really makes me feel like I can't trust any politicians with my vote.
Okay, and let me hear one more point. Yes, woman there in the middle.
I mean, I jokingly said in the Discord, which everyone should go and follow my Discord, by the way. Not follow, join. Become a part of the discussion. Someone said, go and vote. Vote, vote, vote. And I went, nah, it just encourages them. I don't want politicians to think that I like them, you know? It's all a bit gross.
I think this is a classic example of you lot losing your moral compass. I can't believe we're even discussing this. In any other work environment, you would be out the door. And if Keir Starmer goes, at least 3 of you should have the integrity, because it's the combination of your policies that have resulted to where we are today. And just by changing your party colour doesn't absolve you of collective responsibility.
True.
And in any good board, the board takes collective responsibility, and I'm fed up of making
I don't think the Greens have had a donation thing. I presume she doesn't think of them as a major party. It's a relatively new development, I guess, but...
Individuals the scapegoat. Stand up, be counted, and have a moral compass.
Right, okay.
It's a very good point, although I imagine one that will not be taken on by the Westminster elite, unfortunately.
We are halfway through our programme, so we're going to move things around a bit. So I just want to say...
political traitors now.
Before we do, I'm going to be stalking around the back of the table. Before, just want to say a huge thank you. I know you've had very long nights, and you've come here today, and we're very grateful. So a huge thank you to Dave Dugan and to Liz Savile-Robbs. Thank you very much indeed.
There you go. Now we don't have to pretend to give a fuck about Wales and Scotland. It's just the England-orama.
And I just want to let you know where we are going to be next week. That is our show in Brecon. That's where we'll be next week. And the week after that, we are going to be in Dumfries. So if you live in or around Brecon or Dumfries...
I've been to Brecon. We used to go to the Brecon Beacons many years ago. Lovely part of the world. Really beautiful.
Dumfries, and you, like our audience here in London, would like to come and put your questions, we would love to see you. So that's Brecon or Dumfries. Right. Go to our website and apply. All the instructions are there. Hello. So now, just taking their seats, we have...
No, not SAS trip, just on holiday. We couldn't afford foreign shit, so we just drive to, like, a bit of Britain. Like, usually, like, a seaside place, like Weston or something like that. Weston-super-Mare or Great Yarmouth or the Brecon Beacons or whatever.
Rachel Millward, co-deputy leader of the Green Party. Josh Babarigi, president of the Liberal Democrats. So we're now going to focus on the results in England.
Oh, fucking hell, Piers Morgan stuff. So they just get... Literally, oh my God. I genuinely I didn't pre-watch this, so I didn't know what they were going to do. I thought they meant they're going to have a completely separate second panel. And so I jokingly said, oh, they're going to get rid of the Welsh and Scottish person and then pretend not to care about Scotland and Wales. But they literally did the... I was joking. I was actually thinking there's no way they would do that, because that would be too fucking obvious to just, like, shoo away the regional scum. And yeah, that's exactly what they've done. You can't satirise these people. You actually can't. They're too absurd to satirise. Yeah, they are Anglo-washing it. It's just a wall-to-wall fucking Angloid wankers now. Actually, Rachel Millward's okay. But, you know, anyway. Anyway, the point being... yeah, so I thought they were going to get rid of all... So now we have to put with Piers Morgan for the entire fucking show. Was Satan not available? Oh. You got to love the BBC. Well, look, you keep your sexual proclivities to yourself, friend.
In particular, let's take our first question from Gabrielle Jacobs. Where are you sitting? Right there at the back. Off you go.
The country has never been so divided. How will the parties work towards reuniting the nation?
Right, Rachel, you've just taken your seat.
With glue. We're just going to stick them together with fucking super glue.
But let's give you a go now.
The country has never been so divided, and that is heartbreaking, isn't it? It's horrible seeing hate rise in our communities, and it's all of our collective responsibility to do what we can. I think the real divide, actually, is that we have 50 families in the UK that have the same wealth in total as 50% of the population. And that seems to me to be the massive elephant in the room and the reason why so many people voted Green yesterday, because we're the only ones that are actually calling that. And until we look at that great divide, where the super rich are getting richer and richer and richer, and the rest of us, the 99%, are struggling on the daily, then I think it's really difficult. Because, of course, what happens is people, and we've seen this, anyone who's studied history, 20th century history has seen this, when you get economic difficulty like that, when everybody's standard of living is affected, then people start scapegoating, they start pointing fingers, they start pitting us one against each other. But we have got more in common. And we need to keep finding that common ground and staying strong and staying united. And that's certainly what the Green Party's mission is and our vision for a better world.
Perfect. I don't know that I would answer the question any differently. I'd swear a lot more, to be fair. But the general tenor of the discourse would be the same. Perfect answer.
The Greens have made significant gains.
We've done very, very well, yeah.
No question about that. You're in the very unusual position that you were on last week as well. It's the first time it's happened in the whole time we've been doing Question Time. And some of this we discussed last week, but you talked about, you know, we have more in common. We shouldn't be pitting each other, pitting ourselves one against the other. We discussed this last week, but there are many examples of your...
Oh, you talked to her on X the Everything app, did you?
...candidates who are doing the exact opposite of, let me finish, of uniting people, who were standing for election yesterday. You've got one candidate in Hackney who has been elected as a Green, asking online whether Zionist funding was behind the marches, the far-right marches of Tommy Robinson.
Which it literally is. It literally is. It literally actually is. We know that Tommy Robinson is funded by Zionists. Conclusively. Like, you had Robert Jenrick on, and you didn't ask him about the candidate he's just been elected in Merseyside, who said that the Holocaust was a hoax. The British media are absolute fucking scum. I hate them so much. I don't even know how to begin to describe how atrocious they are. It's anti-Semitism to claim that the obviously Zionist paid Zionist influencer, a person who's openly Zionist, who literally wears an IDF t-shirt and goes on paid trips to Israel and literally has Israeli flags all around him all the time. That's anti-Semitic to point any of that out. But you're not even going to bother asking him about the Holocaust deniers that have just been elected as Reform Party councillors. That's fine. Just open fascism, absolutely fine. Concentration camps, absolutely fine. But pointing out Israeli influence when it's nakedly obvious for everyone to see. Too much. It's genuinely, it's like they're trying to make people anti-Semitic. It's like they act in ways that like if you were to do a thought experiment and think, how could you make a population anti-Semitic? How could you purposefully engineer that to happen? And everything that you would come up with are things that the actual establishment are literally doing in real time. They're pitting Jewish safety and Jewish feelings against everyone's fucking rights, literally using supposed anti-Semitism as a way of curtailing people's fucking freedoms to march and say certain phrases. Phenomenally dangerous, incredibly reckless. They're spending specific targeted amounts of public fucking money to protect only Jewish people, giving them preferential treatment over other people within the jurisdiction of the Metropolitan Police Force. They're holding fucking Cobra emergency meetings at Downing Street. In order to allay fears in a way that they would never do for any other group that gets targeted. Like, an event where nobody died led to a fucking Cobra meeting. Sorry, that's not fucking emergency. Why does the Home Secretary have to be fucking, go into Downing Street? Because 2 people got stabbed. Don't get me wrong, it's bad. It's 100% bad. that those two people, well, actually 3 people got fucking stabbed, but the narrative is that 2 Jewish people got stabbed. So those 2 Jewish people getting stabbed is bad. And the authorities should take care of this situation. Absolutely. But why is there a Cobra meeting for that? When Muslims are targeted far more. LGBT people are targeted far more. You don't hear a fucking peep out of anyone for that. They're literally trying to make it so that people start to believe in the JQ. And it's disgusting. This is, like, they're literally laying the groundwork for fascism right now. Both in terms of curtailing people's freedoms to things like jury trials and freedoms of expression and marching and all the rest of it. But also in terms of growing the groundswell of anti-Semitic conspiracy theoryism within the population. Because you feed fuel onto that fire by making it seem like this is true. Women are targeted. Exactly. The violence against women and girls is way worse than violence against Jewish people. Both in terms of the severity of it and way, way more in terms of the frequency of it. And yet the Prime Minister does not come out and describe the fact that virtually no rapists ever go to jail for their rapes as a crisis. As a thing that the country needs to come together and deal with on a core fundamental basis. There is no special extra unit being set up to try and stop rapes from happening. And people are not stupid. They see all of this. They see you weaponising anti-Semitism. Or, indeed, just making anti-Semitism up. As is so often the case. It just is. It's not to say anti-Semitism doesn't happen and isn't a growing problem. But when you claim that someone wearing a lapel badge of a slice of watermelon is anti-Jewish hatred, like, I can't take you seriously. That's not a serious point. You're undermining the actual problem of anti-Semitism. It's fucking crazy. You're being anti-Semitic. I do hope that's a joke when you say I'm being anti-Semitic. If you actually think I'm being anti-Semitic, please tell me. Please tell me as to why you believe that to be the case, because I definitely was not.
You had another one in Warsaw who referred to Jewish cockroaches who was standing for election.
Well, that's out of order. Yeah, that person needs to be kicked out of the party. Yeah.
Another one that suggested that the leaders of Israel and Gaza conspired to carry out the attacks on October the 7th. How?
That's probably a bit much as well. I will say it was very convenient for Zionists that did take place. But I don't think they conspired to have it happen. They certainly took advantage of it, though. It was certainly the best thing to happen to Zionism in a long time. Albeit only in the short term. I think in the long term they will look back on this as a massive overreach. Because their support amongst Western nations will have cratered, and they rely upon Western nations for all of their money. Israel is not a viable nation financially in of itself. It has to have support from the West. And that's interesting. The future of that support. Kevin's not anti-Semitic, he's antiseptic. True. I'm a clean boy.
How is that not divisive?
That is divisive. And those comments are not acceptable
so
to the
why were
party.
they standing as Greens?
We have
Love to you in Kent. Boom shakalaka.
grown at such a pace that some of the processes need to change and evolve. So we're now
So
looking to speed up our vetting process.
So hang on.
There was
those
no
three,
way.
Hang on, Rachel. Those three in particular, well, two of them have not been elected. So in a sense, they're less your problem now. One of them has been elected. Are you going to let that person continue?
Yeah, but the one that got elected was the one that pointed out the obvious thing about Tommy Robinson. So, yeah, that person's fine. I'm sure there are other candidates who also pointed out that, you know, the sky is blue.
Continue to represent your party?
No. No,
okay.
They're in the disciplinary process.
Ifat Shahid.
I think any party, every party would agree, I'm sure, that when you know, out of thousands, and that we had 4,500 candidates, more than ever before, the vetting processes were, you know, we need to keep working on those and improving them. We're committed to do that. We're also committed to now have compulsory training for all candidates in future. This won't be happening again.
So just to be clear, Ifat Shaheen, who's been elected to Hackney, who is reported as asking online whether Zionist funding was behind the far-right Tommy Robinson marches.
Why is that's not anti-Semitic? That's just true. It's just true. Obviously true. Okay. I mean, I presume I'm going to get kicked out of the party now as well.
He's been elected, she's been elected as a Green. But,
well,
you are not going to support those far, you're going to put them as an independent,
I don't actually have the so I can't catch the detail. I don't have the details of that case in front of me. What I can tell you is that if there has been anti-Semitic or any other statement that's against our values, then that, through our disciplinary process, won't be allowed. There's a really clear line on that. We're working with people like Diaspora Alliance. We're making sure that we're getting this right. We're looking at it very, very carefully.
Yes.
It's not something we're tolerating.
Really?
Yeah.
Because I could have sworn that when two innocent Jewish men walking down a street were attacked by a lunatic anti-Semite who wanted to stab them to death, and then carried on trying to find other victims in Golders Green, where so many Jewish people live.
You going to mention the Muslim he also stabbed? Or is that not convenient for you?
That when two heroic police officers apprehended this man.
And kicked him in the head when he was on the ground having been tased.
Who was still armed, who was not, as your leader tried to claim later, in handcuffs. That at that moment, when we're all looking at heroes saving innocent people from being...
The police are not heroes. Then he's not a hero, he's a very naughty boy.
Dad, your leader, Zach Polanski, goes on social media and retweets a post criticising those police.
He retweeted a thing criticising the police. Oh no! The police's feelings must be carried around like a little baby chick. Oh, the feelings of the police. Fuck off, man, you bootlicking cunt.
Officers. And you don't think that's divisive?
I think he apologised.
You don't think it's divisive?
I think he apologised for that.
Well, he
didn't apologise.
He apologised for putting it out in a tweet, but he said he was still concerned by what he said.
And then he's doubled down on it since, and then got it.
Yeah, he should be fucking concerned by it. The police were kicking a bloke in the fucking head. They don't get to decide guilt. They should apprehend the person who is causing a breach of the peace, in whatever form that takes. A rather severe form in this instance, to be fair. And then let the due process take its course. They don't get to just fucking boot blokes in the head. The fuck is that?
Wrong and lied about the police and said that this guy was in handcuffs when he wasn't. And I would go further about Zach Polanski, because I think he's a very weird and quite dangerous individual. And there are other things about him which I just find frankly quite disturbing. We haven't got to the bottom of it yet of why he thinks that if women have hypnotherapy, their breasts will get larger.
He doesn't believe that. You're just lying.
I interviewed him, and he insisted to me that women can have penises.
Fucking hell. Allah, give me strength. Fucking hell. I genuinely don't know really how to even respond to this, other than to just say you're a fucking transphobic freak. You're a transphobic freak. Why are you bringing up people's cocks again? Like, this is supposed to be a serious political discussion show, and you're like, dicks! Lady dick! I'll be interested to see what Rachel has to say about this.
And that when I challenged him on that, I'm interested in what you think, he said that I was transphobic without any...
You are. Because you're essentially... Okay, I'll explain this very simply for Piers Morgan and everyone else. If you claim that women cannot have penises, it is impossible, you are suggesting that trans people aren't really real. You are suggesting that a trans person is lying to you when they say, I am a woman, and yet they have a penis. Now, if you aren't attracted to women with penises, Piers, fine. I don't give a fuck what you personally feel about a thing. I couldn't give two fucks. But the implicit assumption underneath the question is, you don't think trans people are telling the truth. And that is transphobic.
Any evidence for me being transphobic whatsoever. This guy is weird, he's dangerous, and he wants to inflame tension when we have heroic police officers doing their job.
Yeah, we get it. You're annoyed that he's not a bootlicker like you. Yeah, okay. Cool. I don't know why you have to throw trans people under the bus as well. Seems unnecessary.
Wants to inflame tension by making people think that they're the bad guys, not the terrorists trying to kill people.
Well, you are the bad guy. Like, I don't know, like women can have penises and phones can go untapped. You don't have to do that. That was an option you chose to do. You know.
Oh, Piers. I think we all know, Piers, there's no love lost between you and Zach.
Do you think women have penises?
Do you know what, Piers? I think you have a unique...
He's just gonna go with it. Brilliant. I'm sorry, isn't there a chair of this show who can intervene at this point? Like, this isn't the Piers Morgan ranting hour.
Strange obsession.
It's a pretty straightforward question.
No, I'm sorry.
Straightforward question.
I'm sorry, that's a weird question.
It's actually a straightforward question.
Piers, it's a weird question.
What's the answer? What's the answer?
The answer is the trans community in this country are treated appallingly. This is a vulnerable group of people.
But I'm sorry.
Fair dues. Fair dues. Yeah, like, what? Like, we weren't talking about trans people at all. He decided to just bring them up for no fucking reason. Like, so obsessed is he with this. That's the thing with transphobes. They think about trans people more than trans people think about trans people, or more than just the general cis population think about trans people. They're obsessed with it. It eats away at their fucking brain. Transphobia is a genuine, like, it's an addiction. It's a mental illness. It really is.
That wasn't my question. That wasn't my question.
It's not.
You don't want to answer, do you?
I'm telling you that I think
you don't want to answer.
I'm telling you.
Because of the woman, you know it's ridiculous.
I know that you're being ridiculous.
So you don't think trans people exist? You don't think trans people exist? Okay. That's why you're a transphobe, yes.
Yes.
Really?
Right.
Why?
I tell you, let's hear from our audience, because they've all got their hands up.
It's a little bit annoying that she didn't just say yes at some point. Look, I know that's the game he wants to play, but that is the actual answer. You can't just say, yes, they can. And move on. And then make the other points that you made. And I think she did a good job, generally speaking, but...
Man at the back with the glasses, yeah.
Hiya. I am Jewish. I live about a mile or two away from Golders Green. It's an area I know very well. My dad, when he first came to the country, he lived in Golders Green. And in the recent spate of comments that have emerged from Zach Polanski and the Green Party after what took place in Golders Green, I think it's only become clear to me that Reform and the Greens are really two sides of the same coin.
So this person's dad came from Israel. I'm just going to put that out there now. I have no idea. I don't know this person, obviously. But I'm going to guess by the tenor of this fucking stupid point he's about to make that his father was an Israeli person who was a Zionist, and this person has osmosed Zionism from their father and is now spewing this shit. Is what I would think.
In that they're parties that have both latched onto a situation of negativity in the country at large, with one side finding the immigrants in the general sense to be to blame and one side finding the wealthy to be to blame. So I think,
oh, the poor wealthy. Why are you picking on the wealthy? Fuck off, mate.
Until some party is able to ultimately address...
Like, there's a significant difference between someone who chooses people who choose to exploit other people for their own financial gains. That's their own actions for which you can be criticised. And someone who is just born like a Muslim, or indeed born a Jewish person, or born any other thing. Or even if they become that thing, it's just a religion, or it's just an ethnicity, it's just a part of that person. For which you really oughtn't to judge a person, because it's not really fair, is it? It's not really a thing that... It's not really a thing that in of itself is enough. How the person interprets their religion is a thing you can criticise, of course. If someone uses their religion to be hateful or bigoted or, genocidal, not naming any names, of course, for fear of the terrorism police coming knocking at my door, or indeed being kicked out of the Green Party, apparently, maybe, I don't know. People who do that can be criticised, but if you're just born Muslim or whatever, that's fucked up. Whereas a billionaire chooses that life. A billionaire has worked ceaselessly to inherit lots of money and then exploit others to increase their wealth. And that can and should be criticised. And indeed, stopped.
That fundamental malaise within the country, that it won't make any difference whether it's the Reforms or the Greens, because it's just the same thing. It's pointing at one group and saying...
It's not remotely the same thing. Oh, I can't tell the difference between these two totally different things. You're an idiot, mate. Honestly, I live in a country full of the dullest fucking people. I really do.
You are responsible. We are going to come after you relentlessly until some utopia is achieved. It doesn't make any sense. It ultimately accomplishes nothing for anyone.
Okay. Robert, let me come to you. And Josh, I'll come
Malters. I'm surrounded by Malters.
come to you in a minute. So look, I was talking to Rachel about some of her candidates. I mean, let's accept that all parties will occasionally have candidates that say things that they don't like, and they have to deal with it. When it comes to reform, I mean, I was going to make a list, but then the list was too long to read out. So two people who've been elected, and as you've noted, Reform have done extremely well. Ben Rowe, Plymouth, urged protesters to throw bricks at police when they were defending a mosque, and said,
if I speak, I'll get in trouble.
Get rid of that filthy building. This is during the 2024 Southport riots. He's been elected. You got Brett Muscott, who's been elected in Wakefield. There was a post on certainly what looked like his account. He hasn't denied it was his account. That read, Islam is like a cancer. If you don't remove it on time, it will kill you. Why are you letting these people represent you?
You're not going to mention the fucking Holocaust denier! What the fuck? Like, don't get me wrong, those are two perfectly reasonable examples that you can and should bring up as to why these people are accepted, and not just accepted, but welcomed into the party and become fucking candidates and councillors. I would argue the Holocaust denier is worse, though. That like, if you're going to do a list, and you said the list was too long, fine. So you're going to have to filter out a lot of those people and just choose like the worst ones to put to him. Why would you not go with the Holocaust denier guy? Like, or does it not fit the narrative? Because only the Greens can be accused of anti-Semitism, whereas the Reform Party like Israel, so they can't be accused of anti-Semitism. Fucking dickheads, man.
Well, I don't know either of the cases that you just brought to me.
Should you not know about these cases?
Well, we had 5,000 candidates, Fiona,
Sure,
so
sure,
forgive
but
me,
you,
I don't know every single one.
But Nigel Farage was saying how...
Candidates across
No,
the
but I would imagine these two would probably stick in the mind.
Well, they would do if I'd known about them, but I don't, Fiona. You have to forgive me. What we've done is vet the candidates that we've had, and I think our vetting procedures have improved immeasurably.
That's true.
As
That's literally true. She said the list was too long, and yet she somehow managed to give more examples to the Green person when she mentioned 3 tweets or whatever, whereas he gets 2. Making it seem like the Green Party have a bigger problem. Which they don't. Very subtle journalism, BBC.
new party, which it's always a challenge, and all parties have bad apples, don't get me wrong. We've seen that. What really matters is how you respond, and it's when, if cases are brought to you, like the ones you've raised with me tonight, how you respond to those. And where cases have been brought to us, and to Nigel's attention, bad apples have been weeded out and have been removed. And that
also, you may notice that she interrupted Rachel Millwood many times, whereas Robert Jenrick has been allowed to go through his spiel, his pablum, his nonsense rhetoric, completely untouched by the host. Very fair. So fair.
Really matters here, so that you can have confidence in the party, in the people that we're putting up for election. I would just say, and this isn't to obfuscate, but the media do have a bit of an obsession with Reform and its candidates.
Well, I have, in fairness, I have just been talking to Rachel about her candidate.
Well, sure, but you prefaced your question to me by implying that Reform has had a bigger problem than other parties.
Oh, you're such a fucking bitch. Oh my God, cope harder. You were being mean to us. Fuck off.
In fact, that's not the case. Actually, more Conservative candidates proportionally have been forced to step down since the close of nominations than Reform candidates. That's not to say that either is a good thing. We don't want any bad people standing for public office. But there's no evidence to suggest that Reform has a bigger problem than other political parties.
Well, the question is, how will parties work together to unite the
Again,
nation?
not once did she interrupt him. She interrupted Rachel constantly. She allowed Piers Morgan to interrupt with random transphobia. He gets completely coddled. He gets just allowed to be a bitch and whinge. And she doesn't interrupt him at all.
One of Reform's policies is to, should you get into government, because clearly it's not something you do as a council, but to stick buildings to house asylum seekers in green supporting constituencies. Is that not divisive?
No. Look, I think if you...
It's about as divisive as it gets, mate.
I mean, perhaps Rachel will correct me, but the Green Party's policy is that the United Kingdom shouldn't have any borders.
Not true. Obviously untrue. You're a liar.
It explicitly believes in a country without borders.
See, that's where you look. She's too nice. That's where you do have to interrupt and say, no, that's bullshit. You're lying. Look, I know it's not necessarily the polite thing to do, but this is a political discussion show. You're not here to be nicey-nicey. Just interrupt him and say, no, that's not true. You're lying. This has been pointed out to your party. Many, not your party, not the Jeremy Corbyn party. It is pointed out to the Reform Party many times. You're just lying.
I don't think personally that a country without borders is a country at all. I don't know any functioning country in the...
Which, by the way, is boilerplate fascist rhetoric. This is what they do. They pretend that having a sensible immigration policy is open borders, and therefore, a nation only exists because of borders. That sort of thing. Yeah, we get you, Rob.
The world that operates like that. But if that is your policy, then you also have to advocate for the consequences. And the consequences are very clear for everyone to see in the country today. It will mean tens of thousands of more people coming into the country illegally, mostly young men
like they did when you were immigration minister?
Breaking into the country about whom we know absolutely nothing.
Again, young men. Are they military age men? Would you call it an invasion, Bobby? Because that's the kind of vibes you're giving me right now, you cunt.
And some of those people are coming from countries with totally different attitudes towards women and girls, are driving.
You're in a party that is up the arse of a rapist. You are the Donald Trump surrogate party. Don't fucking pretend to me, you cunt, that you care about women and girls.
Sexual violence, rapes and attacks on women in our country. The evidence, to the extent it's available, demonstrates this. I've asked successive Conservative and Labour governments to publish the evidence more broadly. Both have refused. If they did, I'm certain that it would bear out my contention.
Oh, it definitely would. 100%, because I definitely know these things intuitively. Shut the fuck up, you racist cunt.
And so if that is the policy of the Green Party, then I think it's perfectly reasonable that you also face up to your voters and say, well, those people should be housed in the communities that you represent, not parked somewhere else. And that is what's happened.
Right, dickhead. There are Reform voters in all those areas too. You're going to shit on those people as well. Also, you're supposed to govern on behalf of all of the people and not be spiteful towards people who voted any other way. You cunt.
Happened in recent times in our country. Essentially, government, and I was part of one of them, have dumped these people, usually in poor neighbourhoods, in towns and cities, often in the Midlands and the north of this country. First it was in hotels, today it's in HMOs, houses of multiple...
Well, I presume you're going to do it in Islington then, or fucking Kensington and Chelsea. I presume you don't want them being dumped on poor people, so you might as well put them in Buckingham Palace. They've got loads of spare rooms. Shut the fuck up. You're going to do exactly the same shit. It's obviously going to be poorer fucking towns. Don't talk rubbish. Surbiton will not be getting a fucking concentration camp.
See, buying them up street after street in places like Hull and Ashfield and Mansfield and parts of Liverpool, that's wrong.
All right.
And I want to say...
And again, it is worth pointing out, when he was immigration minister, he was the one that founded the concept of the hotels for the migrants. The thing that, you know, the Reform Party are so dead against, yeah, that was him. He did this.
You were the minister that did it.
Actually, I was
the minister that started the hotel process.
That's not. It's not correct.
You increased the hotel use.
Wrong, Peter.
You increased the hotel.
I was the minister. It wasn't Peter.
It wasn't just a government. It was your government, and you were the immigration minister.
Well, Peter, if you want to quote, let me explain the facts to you. I came in and found the Home Office in the most appalling shambles. I then got a grip on it to the extent one could.
You increased hotel use.
We actually closed 100 of the hotels.
You increased
so
the
when
hotel.
I left the Home Office, there were fewer hotels than where I began.
Immigration wasn't...
But you massively increased the use. I don't give a fuck if the overall number of hotels, the number of hotel places being used by the government when you were the immigration minister was much higher. Now, you can argue whether you like that policy or dislike it or whatever. The point being, you can't be the answer to the problem you caused. That's ridiculous. You're not an insurgent, you're the problem. And the Reform Party have taken on that problem for some reason.
Record levels under when you were
No, what happened? The way you're a smart person, Fiona. The way this works.
Well done.
The way this works is you come in, you make changes to the immigration system, and then they bear fruit in the years that follow.
Okay.
And
hang on. I'm going to bring Josh.
I actually resigned from that government. I was the only person who did, because I was so appalled by what was
All right.
happening.
By your own actions.
And the thing that appalled me was the consequences
Okay, I'll let you
for
come back, but let me
communities
bring
in our
Josh in.
country. Because I felt, as a dad of 3 young girls,
Okay.
I was
All
not
right,
prepared
Robert, you've made your point.
to see other communities and other children
And hang
face
on,
things
Rach, I know you want to
to
come back, but I must let Josh in because Josh hasn't had a chance to say a word yet. And he's sitting there very patiently.
Yeah, but they're the Liberal Democrats. Who cares? He's made a false claim about the Green Party. They should be allowed to respond.
And
like, literally, who the fuck wants to hear from the Liberal Democrats? Ever, but especially right now, no one cares.
Thank you, Josh.
Yeah.
So let's get back to Gabrielle's question. The country has never been so divided. How will the parties work towards
Come on, tell us the radical plan you have as the fucking Liberal Democrats for solving the incredibly fractious political situation in the country. I'm all ears.
Uniting the nation.
Well, first of all, I'm not going to lie, Robert, but you sound like a nasty piece of work with what you just came out with there.
That is true. Yeah.
And in terms of division, this is reform all over. Mugging people of their deepest, darkest fears and weaponizing them to divide our communities, to spread anger, all for their own political gain. And this is what drives people crazy about politicians in this country today. And it's not good enough. We need to move away from the politics of division and anger and more towards the politics of actually getting things done. That's what politicians are meant to be here for. And that is why so many people across the country have voted for local champions in the form of Liberal Democrats today.
No one voted for the Liberal Democrat shop. Oh, thank you, Fuzzmos. That's some hell of a gift. When I was a kid, I thought it was great if I got 20 quid in a birthday cake. Oh, that was, well, it was from 50 minutes ago. I've just realised. But thank you. I'm really good at keeping on top of things here, chat. Yeah, that was a story that was talked about previously with Nigel Farage and his 5 million quid. Anyway.
Liberal Democrat gains in councils and councillors across...
Or £5 million donation, I should say.
Across the country. You've got places like Portsmouth Council that is now completely run by the Liberal Democrats. That
woke.
Bought back right to buy houses that were sold off under Thatcher in order to help address the homelessness issue. You've got councils like Sutton Council that increased its majority today. That has implemented a number of initiatives to keep their libraries open where so many are closing them. And then you've got places like my patch of Eastbourne, the sunniest town in the UK, that declared a cost of living emergency, the first in the country, and unlocked emergency support for those struggling the most. That is what people want to see from their politicians. They don't...
Did he literally say adults in the room? I missed that. Oh, God, what a minge.
Want the division from the likes of reform. They want people to get things done. And for as long as Liberal Democrats are working up and down the country, that's exactly what people are going to get when they vote Lib Dem.
Let me hear from the man in the purple top.
Literally no one cares about the Liberal Democrats. You are worthless.
No, further back. Yes, the man in the purple top, yeah.
Maybe it's time to kind of change the model of politics, because the problem with politicians is you are all the same. If you look back far enough, there's always something that's the same thing, it's the same problem. What I'd love to see is actually like the health minister having worked in the health service, the chap who deals with the economy, I don't know, running a CEO or a massive...
Oh, yeah, absolutely. What the problem is, we haven't had enough business owners in government. I'm surrounded by idiots. Fucking idiots. Who think they're really profound. And I've come up with a great idea. And it's just childish wank.
C100 company, like top-level guys and women in their field, leading a wider team.
Guys and women. Top-level guys and women. Yeah, good save.
Below them, instead of the same people in different suits talking the same stuff over years and years and years. It's boring.
Okay.
It's boring. Sorry, should we do extreme politics? Should Prime Minister's questions look like a round of Tekken? Actually, that would be dope as fuck, to be fair. Yeah, actually, let's do that.
There are migrants here who are coming to this country who want to pay into the country. They want jobs and they're unable to. You also have other migrants like my partner who pays her taxes, pays her national insurance, even pays to use the NHS. And yet you have people like you who, as Housing Secretary, oversaw a £1 billion dodgy deal. You've got Nadeem Zahawi dodging taxes, Richard Tice dodging taxes. How long is this going to go on for before people realise it is grifters like you and your colleagues who are the problem?
Yes.
Well, that is a...
Sensational work. No notes.
A whole load of allegations there.
Also, biggest round of applause of the night as well. Dope.
A whole load of allegations. Let me get this right. So Nadeem Zahawi admitted he made a mistake about his taxes and paid up. Richard Tice says he hasn't made a mistake, as far as I understand, but he's happy for people to look at it.
That's right. Run defense for them. Yeah, that's cool. Awesome. I'm so glad they have a pre-prepared fucking propaganda outlet in the BBC. Well done on laying the grounds for the fascism that will destroy the BBC itself, you cunts.
Opinions differ about that. I assume you're referring, when you talk about, listen, you better quickly put your point of view
Fiona,
about
it's
this.
complete nonsense. But, sir, I'll take on the point you're making.
Well, do you want to, okay,
we may disagree, sir, but I can tell you what, there are tens of millions of people in this country, as we've just seen, from the way people voted yesterday, who are sick of people crossing the channel illegally in small boats.
Robert,
Okay, but what's that got to do with local council service provision? Like, this is the problem with reform, is you have one policy, and that policy isn't even like well defined, it's just immigrant bad. That's it. How does that get the bins emptied? Like, you realise that councils cannot stop that. Any of the migrant boat pit, that's a national government concern. Councils deal with, like, street lighting and library services. Good night, Anna. Thanks for stopping by. Yes. Amazing stuff. Amazing.
I just wanted to give you, hang on, Robert. I just want to give you an opportunity to address that allegation, but if you don't want to, that's fine. Okay, fine. Well, let me bring other people in. No, Robert, I've let you talk for ages. No, Robert, I'm so sorry. I'm going to stop you because otherwise no one else on the panel. Robert, I'm so sorry. Otherwise, no one else on the panel will get a word in edgeways. Okay, but there's also two people who haven't said a word yet, so I've got to let them do that.
Yeah, who cares? They just lost the election. I don't care.
This is what happens when you have multi-party and so many people on a panel. But you will also get a word in edgeways. But Peter, you are sitting here. How the parties work towards reuniting the nation, and what you've seen.
Yeah, we're almost, you could say, Peter, as the representative of the Labour Party, that we're almost like an island of strangers right now. How would Keir Starmer reunite us? Pray tell.
Is you've had Labour in power for 2 years and the country is fragmented.
It is divided. And I think we've experienced that during this campaign and we've seen it up close.
And presumably you are part of the responsibility of that.
We are. And we accept responsibility for it. And we accept the challenge that we have to unite. It is difficult. We've seen here that the two parties are now defining themselves against each other. The Green Party, which have said it stands for hope, but two of their candidates were arrested for hate speech during the campaign. We know.
How many of your candidates have been arrested for fucking diddling kids? What are you talking about?
Reform and their policies. You don't. The answer to Islamic hate is not hatred against Jews, and vice versa. What we're seeing are two parties defining themselves against each other, but moving towards the extremes. I believe.
Horseshoe, horseshoe, he's a horseshoe. By which I mean he sounds so dumb he might have been kicked in the head by a horse. I don't know.
Firmly that the mainstream place where most people want their politics to be is wide open, And I accept that the
But then
Labour...
why aren't they voting for you?
And again, you're prompting me to say what I'm already about to say. And I accept that we are not connected to the electorate in the way that we should be, and we have to start by tackling the challenges.
It's just comms, guys, honest. We just need to have a better narrative for the people.
Faced by young people. I was very, very struck and moved by the comments that you made about your experiences at university and your struggles to get in. I applied several times to get into university, and at the age of 25, I went back to secondary school to start all over again. I got into university and it opened a...
To be fair, you should probably go back to secondary school again, because you don't seem to have learned much.
World of opportunity to me, and I hope it does the same to you. We need to make sure that the pathways young people take through life are rewarding, your hard work is rewarded, but those crucial steps for which people have worked their way out of poverty and worked their way up at life, they don't exist in the same way they have in the past. So yes, we have to invest in young people. We have to make sure that universities are equipped for all the opportunities of the future,
Why haven't you
including
done
an AR
it then,
future.
Peter?
Because we came into office...
You've been in power 2 years. Why haven't you done it?
Well, answer the question.
This is not a new problem.
You've
Young people are told, if you go to university, if you study hard, you work hard, you come out, you get a good job, you'll get your first home. Now, the complete opposite happens. They go to university, they work incredibly hard, they come out, they can't afford to buy a home. No one young can afford to buy their own home now. And so you end up perhaps without any job, without any home, without any hope, and you end up like this poor young woman who spoke earlier so eloquently. You're feeling desperate about your affairs. And you had 14 years of watching the Conservatives not fix this problem.
Well, yeah, but they weren't really planning for government. They were just trying to purge the fleas, just trying to shake off the fleas, opening a certain door through which people could leave, etc.
Rather than coming...
Honestly, that clip of him saying the door is open, you can leave, is that the most brazen act of political hubris in British history? It genuinely might be. I can't think of much worse, to be honest.
In and make one of the first priorities that you should do, the young people you're talking so passionately about, say, we're going to fix this from day one, this is the great policy we're going to do. Nothing. And now you're playing catch up. Well, and that's why the electorate today gave you the biggest repudiation in the history of local elections.
Piers, you've just repeated what I said in my first contribution. I accept, but when the pathways are not there for young people...
Yeah, peace in our time was. But at least, like, with peace in our time, at least, like, you've got to bear in mind, I don't want to get into Neville Chamberlain again, because people are going to think I'm standing. I'm not. He was a twat. But I think he has been wronged by history. He was fated. You've got to remember, there was a subscription thing raised to raise funds in his honour. They were going to build a statue for him of a living, serving Prime Minister, which would have been unprecedented. That doesn't happen until you're dead, right? And he said no, and they gave the money to some fucking armed forces charity or whatever it was. Because he didn't want that, right? He said that wouldn't be fair. But that, I'm just giving you that as that sort of tidbit as the kind of mood of the nation when he came back from Munich with that piece of paper. Now, it was still massive hubris for him to say this may be peace in our time and all the rest of it, right? But in the context of the time in which that was operating, when people were fating him and saying he was the greatest statesman that Britain had ever produced and all this fucking shit, and Churchill was like seething, coping and seething, correctly as it turned out, but regardless, he was very much in the minority at this point. It's understandable that he got a little bit full of himself and said a slightly silly thing. But yeah, that's up there as well. It has to be said that is up there, because it was pretty hubristic as well. Read my lips, no new taxes. Yeah, there's that as well. Although that's not British history, but yeah, that is a good one as well.
People to work their way up. And I said in my first contribution that young people cannot...
Stop saying first contribution. You're not in fucking Parliament anymore. Just say the first thing I said. You contribute to a debate. This isn't really a debate. This isn't Parliament. You don't need to be like, the honourable member for tapping people's phones said such and such. You know, like, you don't need to be doing that.
Afford to get a car or to get a house and get a deposit down and work their way into the kind of family life that they expected to a generation ago. Those steps aren't there. My dad worked his way out of poverty, left school at 14, was in the Navy at 16, door-to-door salesman and night school. That path...
He wasn't a fucking toolmaker, though, so shut up.
Way he went on isn't there, and the pathway that I went on, having left school with no qualifications, to working myself as to where I am today, is also not there. You can't fix everything in 2 years. We've invested in schools, we are investing in universities, we are trying to make sure we have an economy.
To be fair, he should refer to him as the honourable member for tapping people's phones. That would be, you know what, Peter Kyle, if there is one service you can do for this nation, and it might be the only thing you ever could do, it would be to create a classic meme moment of Piers Morgan's angry face if you did actually call him the honourable member for tapping people's phones. That would be so fucking beautiful. God, that would be good. But that would require a personality and intelligence and wit, which he does not possess. Like, we know he is a bland nothingness. He is a suit with technically some amount of human inside of the suit, but it's just the suit. The suit is the politician here. Yeah.
That rewards hard work, an education system that
Also, can I just go, hang on, I want to go back here.
fixed everything in 2 years. We've invested in schools, we are investing in universities,
Hang on.
we are trying to make sure we have an economy that rewards hard work, an education system...
Josh Babarinde looks like he might have fallen asleep. Look at him. The Lib Dem guy. He's just head down, just like... He might have actually nodded off. So fucking tedious is the discussion. Bless him. I hope he has. That would be the greatest contribution he could make as a moving piece of living satire against the blandness of Peter Kyle. To literally disrespect him so much that you fall asleep as he talks.
That rewards hard work. It cannot be fixed overnight. It can't be fixed in 2 years. But I accept that we have to regain the trust that people will feel the progress we make, and we have to zero in and show that we are throwing...
Well, the problem with your argument, Peter, is that you aren't making any progress, are you? This 1.5 million homes, you've already failed. You cannot reach that now. Spades needed to go into the ground a long time ago for you to have built 1.5 million homes. Which, by the way, even if they did reach that, that still wouldn't be enough. That wouldn't be nearly enough. But you're not even going to reach that target, which is underneath the bar you need to reach inside this parliament. You can't do it now. You wasted so much fucking time trying to eviscerate the disabled and not passing that Hillsborough law. I will never let you forget this. You still haven't fucking done it. You've already failed. We can already definitively say that Keir Starmer's premiership is a failure. Not will be a failure, is a failure. Nothing he can now do will ever reclaim any semblance of respect or dignity or statesmanship. How many homes did the Attlee government build? I'm not sure, but it would have been a lot more, I think. Just on the basis... I mean, many of them were like those prefabricated homes, which weren't great, but loads of those survived. There were still prefabs around when I was a kid. There probably still are somewhere, but like... for those who don't know, prefabricated homes, they're essentially a short-term stopgap solution where they were like pretty basic, like one-level, quick put-together fucking houses, right? But they were really well put together and cheap, and you could put them up really quickly. And they were basically a place where you could put a family, and you know, they in the meantime while you build more like permanent houses. But they were really good, so people just stayed in them. Yeah, there were loads of prefabs around when I was a kid. These prefab bungalow type places. It was fucking brilliant. Yeah. Apparently only 156,000 were prefabs. True, but you got to bear in mind the population was smaller then. I think it was 40-something million people in the country at the time. So comparatively speaking, that would be, if you were to do the equivalent today, it would be, what, 200, 300,000, whatever, you know, the equivalent would be in order to have the same impact on the population today, if that makes sense. 1 million houses in total. Is that the Attlee government? Again, bearing in mind the smaller population and they'd just been through a fucking massive world war. That's pretty decent, I think. That's alright. In 10 years, Sweden built 1 million homes and people still live in them. Fair dues. Well done, Sweden. And that might sound sarcastic because everything I say sounds sarcastic, but that's actually good. Good for you. Sweden seems like a well-run place for all of the problems that I'm sure are there. It is still a capitalist hoe-bag nation, lest we forget. But they do seem stable, if nothing else. And also, Zlatan Ibrahimovic is a meme god. Just saying.
Everything at these challenges, and we are willing to do whatever it takes to deliver for young people, hard-working people, and people who are trying to change their communities for the better. And that is what we have days and weeks to start to show that we're doing. And believe me, we will.
Kevin, let me bring you in then. So let's just remind ourselves of the question. How will parties work towards reuniting the nation? Is that Kevin's mission, reuniting the nation?
Yeah, very much. First and foremost, you need a sense of optimism. I believe in this country. I love this country. I lived in it all my life. I think it's a great country, but we've got some fundamental problems. So Napoleon said a leader is a dealer in hope. We need somebody who can properly lead this country.
True, but he also described Josephine's pussy. He literally said that there were 3 freckles on her vagina that reminded him of the islands of Guadeloupe. People don't quote him about that, though.
Organisation is characterised by its leader. So I think that's what's missing. And don't get me wrong, I've been a parliamentarian, an MP for 11 years, and at times our leaders haven't always been that great.
Name a few then, Kevin. Come on.
Well, okay. I was never a fan of Liz Truss. Put it that way.
That's the easy one. What about the rest of them?
I'm not going further than that. They all have their strengths and weaknesses. But fundamentally, one thing we all agree on this panel, whether we say it or not, is the secret to that optimism, to improving people's living standards and well-being, is growing the economy. We all agree with that. Peter and I agree with that, and as does Rob, and I'm sure Josh and Rachel as well. And
there was a prefab thing. Where are we? In the southwest of England, we still have Cornish units. Mansard 2-storey prefabs. Unfortunately, red tape and the market is taking them down, but they're still pretty solid. Yeah, exactly, they are. That's the thing. When you build something to last, it will last. That's the problem with the modern world, is that so much of it is like manufactured obsolescence. It's meant to break so that you have to buy another one. Like, some of the best housing that Britain has is Victorian. And when people say Victorian, they usually mean something like old and ramshackle or whatever. But it's ridiculous. Like, they built shit to last. They didn't build it so it would break. They built a thing so it would be there in 500 years. Because many of them lived in houses that were already old as fuck and like they needed to be replaced or whatever, but they'd replace them with solidly built things. There's a row of houses my friend used to live in Moseley, which is a part of Birmingham. People may know it if you're from Birmingham. It's the row of white houses along the 50 bus route, just down the hill from what was that boozer called? I can't remember. Anyway, basically by the old skate park. There on the right hand side in Moseley. Anyway, and there is old Victorian buildings, right? And you can tell they're Victorian because they built the ceilings like crazy high. Like there was no space efficiency modern building technique. It literally, like, the ceilings were about fucking 15 feet in some places. Like the stairs, literally the ceilings are so big you can't jump and touch the fucking ceiling. It's so high up, you know. It was not the most efficient way of, doing space or whatever. But the point is, built like fuck. Built out of like solid, crazy ass fucking like housing. And it's like the best, some of the best housing stock we have in Britain is that old shit, you know? Survivor bias. To a degree, it's survivor bias. That's true. You know, there were plenty of like ramshackle shithouse places that fell down or were bombed or whatever. But lots of the stuff that did survive, I think, it's worth taking into account. The building techniques that we used then, and with modern technology, trying to do a similar thing now, so that we build houses that can be there in 200 years. Why would we not do that? Oh yeah, because it doesn't make money for rich bastards, and that's apparently all that matters.
And peers as well, probably. I do. So what do you do to do that? And I come from a business background. The engine room of the economy is business, and it's been strangled in this country.
You're taxing the businesses too much. The Tories have learned nothing. Enjoy the dustbin of history, you fucking owl. You fucking nerd.
By some of the things that the Labour Party has done. Higher taxes, more red tape. We need to get out the way of business and let it grow and create the jobs and the business opportunities for people, and that improves living standards, and that brings a sense of optimism. So if we can reduce the cost of doing government, which you must do, that's the only way of balancing the books.
No, it isn't. No, Tories have learned nothing. No, you could tax businesses, you could tax wealth. Like, you could bring more money in. You could do that. There isn't just one way of balancing the books at all. God almighty, these neoliberals are really wedded to this idea.
Where, on the basis we can reduce some key taxes, stamp duty, for example, so people can get on the housing ladder and move and trade up, business rates for high street businesses. That's the way to try and get the business community driving the economy forward,
But this all sounds
creating
great,
the
Kevin.
jobs.
But
and
in the
that's
nicest
how we
possible
increase
way,
optimism.
under the Conservatives, growth wasn't going gangbusters either.
Stop saying fucking gangbusters. We're not America. Are you going to say, oh, it's not gangbusters, you didn't score a touchdown? Home run! Stop it. Stop.
Find it in 14 years. How are you going to find it if you ever get back into power?
To be fair, against the backdrop of the many challenges we had, it was the third fastest growing economy in the G7 over the period of time we were in office. When we left office, it was the fastest growing economy in the G7. So listen,
I think that was for a quarter.
No, it was
that
two
last
quarters. It was
statistic.
2 quarters, but no doubt.
2 quarters out of 14 years. That's not a whole heap of time.
But it was third over that
For
period.
11 days and 5 hours.
No, it was third over the period, Piers. Look at the facts.
You lot screwed up the economy royally.
Well,
That's why
COVID,
everybody here has felt the
COVID.
cost of living pinching in their lives on a daily basis. And the Labour came in, had 14 years watching you screw it up, and has screwed it up even more. Happy days.
No, let me say...
Oh, God. When he's not talking about women's dicks... Like, he does make some decent points. He's just a wanker, you know?
Let me say this. Let's just ground this in facts, Piers. Going into the Iran war, the annualised growth rate in our country hit 2%. Inflation was heading to target, 2%. Productivity up for the first time in 13 years. These weren't happening by accident. Now we have been... Now, all of that is true.
Inflation increased.
No.
Unemployment increased.
Now, it was heading to target.
That was prior to Iran. That's just nonsense.
Listen, all of that is where our economy was heading until the Iran war. Now, because of what we've taken, we will be more resilient as a result. But let's not kid ourselves that the Iran war isn't going to have an impact. But all of the fundamentals were heading in the right direction. This is a point. This is the point at which we can now start thinking about a far more optimistic future. We have to find a way of generating the hope through the delivery of this government, including in the economy and in our policy and public services, and of course make sure our international relationships are delivering for people. This is why we're straining it a bit, but you cannot return to the chaos of the Tories where we had five prime ministers.
Well, to be fair, no one's returning to the Tories. They're returning to Reform Party, which is the Tories.
8 years, and then all of the people who did that have now gone into reform. This is a challenge we have to move beyond.
I have got 40 seconds left.
You guys are
The
missing
last
point.
word.
Oh, Blockbusters was a fucking great show. Who was the host of that? Bob Holness. Fuck yes. I haven't thought about Bob Holness in 20 fucking years. God damn. Wholeness, Beadle. We're just a 90s TV cornucopia on this channel. Did someone say Des O'Connor? What was the Scouse guy? The Scouse comedian who used to do a show based on crosswords. Tom O'Connor. Does anyone remember that show that Tom O'Connor used to do? With the, and it was literally like, they'd have a big... it's difficult to explain on. Would it be on YouTube? Would they have clips of Tom O'Connor's crosswords on YouTube? Tom O'Connor. Crosswits, that was it, Crosswits. Oh my god, there are clips of Crosswits. Oh no.
You deserve 2 holidays, we'll give you your...
Oh my god, was that Carol Vorderman? What? Did they have celebrities? They usually had just normal people. For some reason, this one's celebrities. Okay.
There are 2 holidays, actually.
Well, so wherever you are. Well, good to have you with us, Carol, and of course, nice to meet the other. You were actually steak.
Hang on.
It's air and...
See, look, so he would literally have a crossword on the fucking screen. And, like, he'd give out the clue, and you had to guess what the word was?
Constance and Richard have won the toss, and they're going first.
4 across, please.
The city that has its rose on the D.
Wrexham.
Good answer, but not right, I'm afraid. Would have fitted too. Tony and Carol.
4 across.
Aha, she lives around there, of course. The city that has its rose on the D.
Chester.
Yes, it's Chester. Bonnie Chester. Just before I come to you, Tony, it's the rows of shops and things, isn't it? Isn't that the arcades in Chester? That's
Yes,
what it gets.
the rows, yes.
Yeah, the rows.
Yes.
OK, sorry, Tony, you think the key word is?
Charlie or Charles?
It is. Would you believe it is? Well done. You got it from Charlie Chester, presumably.
I'm older than I look, you see.
You are older than you look.
Well, so am I. Anyway, that was Tom O'Connor's... He has to be dead. Tom O'Connor has to be dead. That was how old he was in 1994. Yeah, he did. July 2021, though. Okay. He was 81 years old. He died of pneumonia in Slough. Oh. He seemed like a nice enough bloke. Anyway.
With you, sir. You're not. If you ask a question, you may not get an answer, but let's hear what you've got to say.
The result of the election yesterday seemed to reflect how Westminster behaved. Now that we've voted for local elections, do you really think that anything will change locally?
Wow.
It depends who you voted for. You voted Conservative councillors yesterday?
Yeah. 20 seconds. I've got 20.
I used to love Big Break as well, but it has been slightly ruined by the fact that I now understand that Jim Davidson is a fascist cunt. But I do have a lot of good memories of him and Virgo and all of the old snooker profession. Imagine that. If this was prime time TV on a Saturday, right? Back when TV was really big because it was the only thing. There was no internet. There was no fucking mobile phones. Nothing, right? Well, I suppose technically mobile phones existed, but they were like those big brick things that fucking, whatever. And no one had them. Anyway. And so, yeah, John Virgo did die recently, yeah. I would say R.I.P., but he was friends with Jim Davidson, so... I'm not going to do a crab dance, but I'm also not going to, give a fuck. Anyway. And he used to annoy me when the white ball would go anywhere near the pocket. He'd be like, "Oh, where's the white ball go? Where's the cue ball going?" And then it'd hit the cushion 2 feet away from the pocket. Yeah, he nearly went in off. Who cares? I don't give a fuck, mate. Shut up. Anyway. Yeah, sorry. So, right. So, Saturday evening TV was snooker, which is like pool, but bigger and more mental. And you'd go on professionals to sort of play snooker-based games based on the answers that were given by the random people who they just have, who would be paired up with one of the snooker professionals. And, do we have to watch Big Break now? Well, firstly, we have to play the theme tune because it's the best song ever. And I think I still remember the... Genuinely, right now, I'm so curious, when we play the theme tune to this song, whether I can remember the words. Right, full episodes. Oh, God, here we go. Right. Well, let's skip to... Come on. It's only a game, so better prevail, big fight. I'm gonna be snookering you tonight. I'm playing for my aim, so you better believe I'm right. I'm gonna be snookering you tonight. Big fight!
Ladies and gentlemen, Jim Davidson.
Oh, God. Oh, no. I remembered every word. Oh. Oh, God. How old am I? Too old.
Welcome to the big break, where the punters and the pros pit their wits for a pocket of surprise prizes, where they all get together and play snooker. But at least snooker was responsible for my first big romance in my life, yeah. Her name was Shirley Swinger. She walked up to me out of the blue one day and she pinched me on the cheek. It's funny because I was bending over a snooker table at the time. I could tell she was attracted to me because I was wearing me new aftershave lotion, lads. It's called Essence of Leather. You've got to get some of that. Women can't resist it. It smells like a wallet. Okay, I'll admit, I can't play snooker, but I know a man who can. He's a very nice man. He's a very, very nice man. What is he? He's a very, very nice man. Wake up. Here he is, John Virgo. How's the beard coming on then?
It's growing on me.
Well, enough of this alternative comedy. Give us your bag of thingies. Let's meet tonight's contestant. See you in a minute.
No, not John Burko. John Virgo.
Thank you. Hello, Steve.
Yeah, mate, all right.
Aye, not bad, not bad, eh? Great, eh? Where you from, Steve?
St Helens in Merseyside.
Oh, St Helens in Merseyside.
Oh, he's just going to do voices. I can't know. Fuck off. I want to go to bed.
20 seconds more. Let's hear from you, madam, in the front.
Okay. It's 1:15 in the morning. I'm watching fucking reruns of Big Break. Did you know Mike Reed was the original choice to present Big Break? Good God. Wow. I didn't know that. No, I'm not having this. John Virgo was not a good commentator. No. Not at all. Who's the best commentator? Well, not a snooker commentator, but undoubtedly the best sports commentator of all time. Sid Waddell. In the darts. Sid Waddell was a lunatic. Another guy who's dead. Some of his sayings. Oh my God. The guy's sweating like a penguin in a microwave. Like, what are you doing? And obviously the best piece of commentary ever on any sports event was when Eric Bristow won the World Darts Championship. And because people don't realise, Sid Waddell, because he spoke with like a broad northwest accent, people assumed he was like, I don't know, thick, I suppose, or whatever, uneducated. But he wasn't. He was a Cambridge fucking graduate and all of that, right? He was a very, very educated, intelligent man. Anyway, and when Eric Bristow won the World Championship, he said, when Alexander the Great of Macedon, at the age of 25, cried salt tears that there were no more worlds to conquer, Eric Bristow was only 22. Fucking... Oh, it's so good. It's so good. Oh. No, not Tiff Waddell. Sid Waddell. Stop getting things wrong. To be fair, Kev, I've met plenty of thick Cambridge graduates. That's true, but, like, he's a working class lad who worked hard and got a bit of luck, obviously, but, like, to make his way through that process, which means he must have been intelligent. It's not like fucking one of these, like, fucking... Boris Johnson's got a degree from Oxford. You think he got that for intelligence? No, he's a rich cunt, you know. Like, if you're a working class lad who went through all of that shit and came out with a degree, you're a smart cunt. You had to be. Someone said Kev is the best commentator. That is just profoundly incorrect.
To point out, people make...
Also, is Rachel going to point out at any point that Robert Jenrick lied about Green Party policy, or is she just never going to speak again? Because the show's nearly over.
The politician Brexit. And there are two politicians on each side. There were one from Wales and one from Scotland. And there is...
What about Jim Ross? What, the wrestling commentator?
The Reform, who actually are voting for breakup.
Not really a sport, but then again, neither is darts or snooker. In fact, have we mentioned a sport at all with commentators on it? I don't think we have. We've done mainly non-sports. That is a lovely beard, by the way. Okay. Am I going to say this? No, I'm not. But I'm just going to say that it is a lovely beard. I do like that. Have you heard Brian Blessed commentating? I did, and it was amazing.
Of UK. And I'm sorry, but you were in the Tory party when you took actually UK from Europe. I actually experienced one country when it broke up to pieces. So just to finish,
you've got to finish in a second. I'm so sorry to cut you off, but because it's a live a live program.
Is she from Russia or some shit? Is that what she means? The USSR and all that, or?
I've got to end on time. But thank you for your... Hang on. We're out of time, Josh. I'm so sorry. Josh, we are out of time. I'm really sorry. It's a live programme. We've got to end on...
So, no, the Green Party are not going to be able to respond to the lies. Amazing. Again, every week I seem to say this, but a new low has been reached in journalistic integrity on this show. Golf claps all round. I'm going to go to bed anyway. Who was the snooker commentator who said, for those watching in black and white, the yellow ball is next to the green ball? I can't remember, but it's on there. For those who don't know, was it Coleman? I can't remember, because Coleman balls in Private Eye is good, which is based around a guy. What was his first name? I can't remember anyway. Coleman was his surname, and he was a famous sports presenter and commentator who used to get things wrong. Used to say things weird, you know, which in live sport's going to happen anyway. And so Coleman balls became like a kind of phrase for when a sports commentator says a silly thing. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, I'm going to fucking bed. I'll be on tomorrow evening, quite late again. David Coleman, that was it. David fucking Coleman. God, we've had some old school names tonight. Fucking O'Connor. Fucking Coleman. It's been all over the place. Anyway, I'm fucking distracted now. Right, everyone, I'll be on late tomorrow. 10 p.m. I think UK time, with Mad Cat Scotty Eye, who people will know from the chat, to do like a breakdown of the election results. So I'll look more into the individual Scottish results ahead of that, because I presume Scotland will be a strong focus of the discussion, being that the people I'm going to be on with are Scottish. So yeah, I will see you all tomorrow. Stay beautiful. Right. Who is going on YouTube that I can send everyone into? By the way, thank you everyone. I've had really good numbers tonight. Presumably because we had no Justice on, but she wasn't streaming, so I got her refugees. Yeah. Who is going? Some random geek is on YouTube. Go and say hello to them. Regular lurker. Yes. And who is going on the Twitch machines? Hang on a minute. Who is going? There we go. I don't know half of the people I follow on this. Oh, there's Hassan, or Hassan, if you will. JFK rotting. Fuck it. I can't decide. I'm just going to go there. What does no passerand mean? It means none shall pass, and it's essentially a way of saying like the fascists will not overcome us. That sort of thing. It's a Spanish phrase from the Spanish Civil War. Yeah. Anyway. And what was I doing? I was raiding. Fuck me, I really have zoned out completely. Who did I say I was going to? Oh god, my mind has gone totally fucking... who did I say I was raiding to, chat? Because I can't see them on the thing. I genuinely am fucking broken. My head doesn't work. No justice. Well, she's not fucking streaming. JFK rotting. Thank you. Jesus Christ, I'm all over the place. Like I would say, is it JFK _rotting or something? No, apparently I can't find them. Okay, you're going into the Mayor McCheese. See you later. Yeah, I would say, oh, they don't accept incoming raids. For fuck. Just chill. Just chill. It's fine. It's not a problem. Okay, yeah, go away. Fuck's sake. DJ Che. Okay, fine. Fine. Fucking fine. DJ Che, there we go. I will see you later. I forgot what I was going to say. Oh yeah, I would say to the new people, it's not usually like this. I'm really well organised, but that would be a lie. I'm not going to get you to follow on a false prospectus. I am this bad all the time. But you can hit the follow button. It is free. No pass around.